Chapter 343. The Eve of the Young Patriarch Election. Part 2. The bronze-skinned man looked up. Ghoulie squinted his eyes and smiled, then grabbed an apple from the table and chucked it towards him. Naturally, both sides have to do their best. I'm not the kind of person who would burn bridges after crossing the river. Ghoulie smiled calmly. The bronze-skinned man laughed sinisterly once more. All right, if that's the case, then I'll see you later. See you later. As he watched the man leave, Ghoulie's gaze gradually darkened. Cooperating with them was just an expedient measure. They really thought that he was sincere in cooperating with them. As long as he could control the Goo family's resources, then cooperation? What the hell was that? Little did he know that the bronze-skinned man had the same thoughts as him. As long as he achieved his goal, he would get rid of this little guy. At that time, the Goo family would be theirs. Both sides were testing each other with ulterior motives. No one knew who would have a last laugh. Young Master Little Tion, it's time. In Goo Tion's room, Huali bowed as he stood in front of the door. Goo Tion nodded and stood up from the sofa. At this moment, he was wearing a light blue suit, and Huali was the only one left beside him. As for the square-faced elder who followed him, he was nowhere to be found. Someone has been playing tricks in the dark these past few days. Elder Hua, you have to be careful during the election. Yes. Huali's face stiffened. His eyes flickered as he did not dare to look him in the eye. Let's go. The location of the Junior Patriarch election was an open-air martial arts arena. The area of the martial arts arena was extremely large, and the location of the election was set up here so that all the Goo family members in attendance could watch. As early as 3 hours ago, this place was already filled with people. These onlookers who didn't know the truth all wanted to know who would become the true successor of the Goo family. Young Master Xiaotian has arrived. Someone shouted loudly, and it wasn't long before Goo Tian and Huali appeared on the practice grounds. In the training field, there were already a few clan brothers sitting on their chairs with dejected expressions. This group of people used to be ambitious people, but at this moment, they were pitiful, lonely worms. Goo Tian. When Goo Tian intended to sit down, a voice suddenly resounded from the side. He turned his head and saw his elder brother, Goo Hong, sitting beside him. He was the most ambitious candidate in the Goo family for the junior family head election, and he was also the strongest candidate 3 days ago. At this moment, there were no supporters behind him. His eyes were bloodshot and his face was full of fatigue. Big brother. Actually, we've all been played. Goo Hong smiled bitterly and helplessly. None of us here can become the young clan leader. Why do you say that? Glancing around the martial arts practice field, all the candidates had arrived. Why did Goo Hong say that no one could succeed? Wasn't the successor supposed to be chosen from among them? You'll know when the time comes. Really, you'll definitely be shocked. Just now, before Goo Hong could finish his sentence, another shout sounded out from the martial arts practice grounds. Young Master Goo Li has arrived. Little Li. Goo Tian was stunned. Why would he come to such a place? Shouldn't he be recuperating in the hospital now? He subconsciously turned around and saw 7 or 8 elders of the Goo family standing behind Goo Li. More importantly, his legs. He walked out standing up. At the sight of this, Goo Hong smiled bitterly from the side. When he saw Goo Li, he was also shocked that Goo Li was actually able to stand up. Among the brothers, no one had ever doubted that Goo Li's legs were fine. However, the moment he saw Goo Li stand up, Goo Hong guessed something. Although he was furious, he could only endure it. Little Li. Goo Tian still did not understand what was going on. Goo Li revealed a faint smile. Tian Ji, why did you come here? Also your legs. Goo Tian said in shock. Goo Li smiled. Of course I came here to run for the junior family head election. Of course I'm here to run for the young clan leader. My leg. I'm sorry, I've been lying to you all this time. As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his eyebrows and walked towards his seat. Little Li. Do you still want to call him Little Li? Goo Hong smiled bitterly. Goo Tian, Goo Li isn't as simple as we thought. He has been enduring all this time for this moment. Later, we can't call him Little Li anymore. We have to call him young family head Goo Li. How? Even now, Goo Tian was unwilling to believe that all of this was true. If all of this is true, Then doesn't that mean that I truly missed out on Big Brother Yi that day? When he turned around, he saw Ghoulie waving towards him with a smile. The smile contained faint anticipation and excitement. It was this innocent face that caused others to be unable to help but want to protect him. However, at that moment, Gu Tian felt that it was extremely disgusting. He's actually been faking it the entire time. All of a sudden, the words that Yi Zichen shouted towards him surfaced in Gu Tian's mind. He's faking it all. I'm helping you, brat. Do you know that he's been enduring it the entire time? Do you know how dangerous someone like that is? When he's truly prepared to bare his fangs, it's even possible for him to swallow you whole. Can you wake up a bit? Creak. Gu Tian clenched his teeth, then looked up powerlessly at the gradually darkening sky. Big Brother Yi, I'm sorry. As the sky gradually darkened, the number of spectators did not decrease at all. Instead, more and more people came. The candidates for the position of junior family head sat on the chairs in the center of the martial arts field with different expressions. Some of them were trying to form alliances, while others chose to give up. Gu Tian leaned back on the chair with a distracted expression. At that moment, he was no longer in the mood to get involved in all of this. He was not good at scheming, and he disliked these conspiracy theories even more. All he could do now was sit obediently on the chair, wait for the family head and the elders to conduct the ceremony, announce the results, then go home and sleep. The family head has arrived. A loud voice sounded out. All of a sudden, the noisy discussions in the martial arts field stopped. The person who appeared in the martial arts field was an old man with white hair. He was hunched over, while his murky eyes contained a terrifying sharpness. May the family head be blessed. The young masters all stood up and bowed. The old man nodded, then swept his gaze across the candidates before landing on Ghoulie. After looking at him for half a minute, the old man finally moved his gaze away and raised his hands. Begin the ceremony. A bonfire suddenly lit up in the center of the martial arts field, illuminating the pitch-black night. At the same time, woo! Chapter 344. The competition, the low but powerful sound of the bugle horn reverberated in the huge practice field. The surrounding clansmen were all shocked by the sound of the horn, while their gazes turned even more serious as they looked at the candidates on the stage who were preparing to compete. In the future, among this group of candidates, there would be someone who would lead them down the path of dew. It's finally begun. On the chair, Gu Li's gaze became more and more heated. He clenched his fists tightly, while his calm expression revealed his restless heart. I've waited 10-odd years for this day. I've endured enough humiliation during this period of time. It's time for me to take off the laurel crown and place it on my head. He swept his gaze across the faces of his brothers indifferently. In his eyes, all of their expressions were like the funniest joke in the world. After that, he shot his gaze towards Gu Tian in the end. My poor Lil, Tianji, his thoughts must be very cute right now. However, when Huali leave his side, I wonder if he will cry or laugh at that time. Ghoulie muttered. At the same time, a faint sigh flashed across the eyes of the elder, sitting on the highest seat in the training field. None of us paid attention to that brat Ghoulie. If we all had ulterior motives, we would definitely let that brat take that title. Gouda, who had brought Gu Tian back to the capital, looked at Ghoulie with a dark gaze. Ghoulie merely smiled faintly when he felt the unfriendly gaze, and even nodded towards him. That bastard! Gouda clenched his fists tightly and said to the people beside him, Lend me your people. Lend me your people. When the time comes, if I am chosen, we can discuss the position of a young patriarch. However, if that bastard Ghoulie becomes it, then none of us will have a good time. With that, he took out his phone and started to quickly send messages to the other candidates. The contents of the messages were exactly the same as what he had just said. Ding dong. Gu Tian's phone rang while he was still in shock. When he took out his phone and saw the message, he subconsciously looked towards Gouda. At that moment, Gouda was also looking at him. Out of all the candidates, he could not guarantee that Gu Tian would agree with his thoughts. That kid had always been straight since he was young. All of them knew this in their hearts. He put his phone back into his pocket without replying. Seeing this scene, Good's eyebrows tightly knitted together, but soon relaxed again. Damn, this Jin. Never mind. He doesn't have many supporters. It doesn't matter if he's gone. Cursing in his mind, Good lowered his head and fiddled with his phone to instill a sense of alignment into other candidates. Young Master Xiaodian, what's wrong? Huali said calmly. Gu Tian shrugged and smiled. Guda is trying to form an alliance. I didn't respond. It seems a little too late to recruit allies now. Huali's tone was still indifferent, while Gu Tian nodded his head in a non-committal manner. I know, right? Just then, the horn stopped blowing. The ancient clan leader stood up from his chair. The surrounding spectators all knew that the election was about to begin. He thought he would hear an impassioned speech, but let's begin the election. We will dispense with the other rules and regulations. Let's vote. With such a plain sentence, the Gu clan leader took his seat once again. As the clan leader, he could not be blinded by the outside world. At this moment, he already knew in his heart that the position of young patriarch would most likely fall to that child, the child who had never attracted his attention but had given him a severe blow in the past few days. As expected, the older one gets, the more shrewd they become. Grandpa seems to know everything already. Gu Li's smile widened. Then his lips curled into a mocking smile. But he can't stop it now, right? He was the one who started it all. I just took a shortcut. After a while, he looked at Good with a playful expression. It's so cute to form a clique. It's just that, when the time comes, the voting might surprise you. Young Master Gu Li, we're leaving. The elders and guest chamberlains behind him spoke up. Gu Li nodded indifferently. Go, think about your family, and decide a vote. His flat and slightly threatening words caused the expressions of the elders and guests in the surroundings to change, and they nodded with an embarrassed smile before leaving. At the same time, Huali, who stood behind Gu Tian, spoke out. Young Master Xiaodian, I'm going now. Elder Hua. No need to feel troubled. Just vote according to your own thoughts. Gu Tian had already lost the desire to compete for the position of the junior family head. The only thing he couldn't accept was being tricked by Gu Li for so long. Yet he still had to personally witness Gu Li becoming the junior family head of the Gu family. The voting took half an hour. During that time, Good's face was filled with nervousness. He cupped his fists and silently prayed for the position of junior family head to land on his head. From start to finish, Gu Li's expression remained calm and collected. He knew very well that this position was his for sure. The election is over. The Gu family's head, Butler, shouted loudly, then walked in front of the ballot box. The moment the box was opened, the results were clear. All the other boxes were empty. Only Gu Li's box was filled with recommendation votes. Of course, not everyone was empty. There was also a vote in Gu Tian's box, which was from Huali. Gu Li truly is a child who knows how to endure. The head butler shook his head and sighed. He glanced towards Gu Li. To have such a scheming mind at such a young age. Actually, it wasn't a good thing. However, as the head butler of the Gu family, he had to maintain fairness. He raised his head and looked towards the surrounding people, announcing the results. The candidate with the highest recommendation votes is Gu Li. He will become the junior family head of the Gu family, as well as the first successor to the position of family head. The phone in Good's hand instantly fell onto the ground. On the other hand, Gu Li was not surprised at all when he heard the results. He had already expected all of this. Gu Li, come up. At that moment, the Gu family head also opened his turbid eyes. Gu Li stood up from the chair with his hands behind his back. I protest. I demand to have the votes checked. Good roared with bloodshot eyes. Head butler merely took a look. He didn't even know anything. What right does he have to say that he is the junior family head? Then come up and see for yourself. The head butler took a step back indifferently. Good glared at him and walked up. When he saw the votes in the box, Gu Li, you truly played your cards well. Gu Li gnashed his teeth so hard that they creaked. He smiled and shrugged. You look so ugly. Pitiful thing. Gu Li glanced at him sinisterly, then raised his head up high. At that moment, the head butler also walked up. Who else has any objections? If anyone else has any objections, you can raise them. You can all come up and have your tickets checked. If there are no objections, then the junior family head this time will be Gu Li. Everyone lowered their heads with a sigh. Just as Gu Li was about to walk towards the Gu family head in victory, Chapter 345. Bang, bang, bang. Two figures flew out from a dark corner, causing the surrounding crowd to subconsciously move aside. The head butler frowned. The two people that flew out were the ones he had arranged to stand guard outside, in order to prevent people from other families from causing trouble. Those two people could be called the top fighting power of the Gu family. They were at the late stage of the false immortal level. However, his eyelids couldn't help but twitch when he saw them get beaten up like dead dogs. Sorry, these two people blocked us from entering, so I had no choice but to use forceful methods. Not long later, Yi Zichen, who was wearing casual clothes, walked out from the darkness with Lu Lu, Fatty Yin, and Go Yuzhan. Gu Li's eyelids twitched when he saw Yi Zichen. Big brother Yi. Gu Tian, who was sitting on the chair, was also shocked. At the same time, the butler in charge of the junior family head election also spoke up. Who dares to cause trouble in the Gu family? And at this time, do you want to challenge the Gu family? Ziz, who are you trying to scare? Yi Zichen twitched his mouth in disdain. Isn't it just a junior family head election? This is a farce in itself. Yet you guys are enjoying it so much? Don't speak nonsense. The head butler frowned and roared. Take them down. They were in the middle of the junior family head election. Guest chamberlains and elders were all present. Causing trouble here was the same as challenging the entire Gu family. Even the other hidden families wouldn't dare to start a war with the Gu family in this sort of situation, even if they mobilized all of their fighting power. There were only 4 people. The surrounding Gu family guest chamberlains and elders all charged towards Yi Zichen. At that moment, the temperature in the air suddenly dropped. Lu Lu's icy hair fluttered in the wind, while her cute face was also filled with an inviolable expression. Whoever dares to take a step forward, die. Crash. A thick layer of ice instantly formed on the stone floor. All of the surrounding spectators, elders, and guest chamberlains stopped. A shocked expression also surfaced on the head butler's face. You don't dare to move anymore, right? Yi Zichen lit a cigarette leisurely, then walked forward step by step. What he was doing right now could be said to be trampling on the dignity of the Gu family. Despite that, not a single person in the Gu family dared to go against him. What are you doing here? Don't think that our Gu family is afraid just because we're not attacking you. You are challenging the bottom line of our Gu family. Ziz. Yi Zichen shook his head mockingly. Isn't it embarrassing? Isn't it because you're afraid? Then come. I'm standing right here. Do your people dare to come within 10 meters of me? Only then did Yi Zichen twitch his mouth with a snort. You're still talking big. The Gu family has fallen. Now that he's no longer the leader of the hidden family, why is he still pretending? Little friend, you're not here to mock our Gu clan, are you? The Gu clan is indeed in dire straits. But if you're really here to provoke us, even if this old bag of bones knows that I'm no match for you, I'll still have to fight you. The Gu family head, who was sitting on the chair, released a faint aura. Yi Zichen looked up at the old man. He should be the one who pushed his mother out back then. Don't say such nice things, okay? Yi Zichen's gaze instantly turned cold. Even though Yi Rong had told him multiple times not to hold any grudges towards the Gu family. How could he not hold a grudge when he thought about that man and his mother's situation? The Gu family head also felt the deep enmity the young man had towards him, causing him to subconsciously take another look at the young man. You. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth with a faint smile. You what you? Don't think too much, geezer. Don't think too much into it, geezer. I didn't come for any reason. I just don't like your trusting young family head. Didn't you guys say that anyone disagreed? I disagree. Does it matter if you disagree or not? This is the Gu family. It's not a place for you to behave atrociously. Gu Li glared. At that moment, he truly started to panic. Everything had been going according to his script from the start of the election, but Yi Zichen's appearance instantly changed the script. He couldn't just watch as everything he had prepared go to waste. Little fellow, you weren't like this a few days ago. What? You got a bit anxious and couldn't hide it anymore? Yi Zichen glanced at him playfully, then walked beside Gu Tian and patted his shoulder. I'm this brat's supporter. I'm a supporter of this brat. I hope that the position of a young clan leader will go to him. Big brother Yi, Gu Tian said apologetically. Gu Tian said apologetically. At that moment, he truly regretted saying such harsh words to Yi Zichen. Now you know the truth, right? Hee. Who told you not to believe me back then? Yi Zichen snorted, then shrugged plainly as he looked at Gu Tian's twitching lips. All right, we'll settle the score after everything is over. The Gu family head stared closely at Yi Zichen. This young man looks way too similar to that person. The scene from back then was still fresh in his mind. It could be said that his decision back then was his worst mistake. He closed his eyes in pain. After a long while, he opened his eyes once again and sighed. Young man, the votes have already been decided. The position of our Gu family's young family head is no joke. It's not something that you can change just because you say so. Hey, don't be too confident. If I really used force to request for the position of young family head, would you really refuse? Don't forget your weak decision back then. Yi Zichen's faint mockery caused huge waves in the Gu family head's heart. He wanted to say something with trembling hands, but was interrupted by Yi Zichen. Of course, I'm not the sort of person to force others. I heard Gu Tian say that your Gu family fought with the underworld and heavenly court back then. It's just because you haven't descended for a long time. Since that's the case, I'll let you see the ghost servants of the underworld when I have the chance. Wow. The surrounding people instantly went into an uproar. The Gu family head, who sat on the high seat, instantly forgot about Yi Zichen's identity and stood up. If you can summon the ghost servants of the underworld here, the position of young family head, no, the position of family head will be Gu Tian's. Ziz, you're in such a hurry. Yi Zichen smiled playfully. However, a hint of bitterness surfaced on the Gu family head's face. I am indeed in a hurry. Little friend, if you can truly summon the ghost servants, then hurry up and show me your divine abilities. After you summon them, you will become an esteemed guest of the Gu family and be on the same level as the family head. And never mind, your Gu family can't contain a great deity like me. Yi Zichen shook his head with a faint smile, then reached out his hand to summon the ghost servants of the underworld. However, at that very moment, Gu Li, who had maintained his gloomy expression, said something shocking. Chapter 346. All one's efforts wasted. Hua. The onlookers were all dumbfounded. It had been many years since the Gu family had seen a ghost or god descend. The fact that Yi Zichen was able to say it was already shocking enough, but they didn't expect Gu Li to be able to do it as well. At that moment, Gu Li was about to explode with rage. Ghost servants were originally a method he planned on using to stabilize the clan's morale when he became the clan head. However, Yi Zichen's appearance directly messed up his plans. Isn't it just a ghost messenger? Do you think you're the only one who can see ghosts? A hint of disdain surfaced on Gu Li's face. Then he looked towards the Gu family head. If the two of us both summon ghost servants, I wonder what would happen. The child is still young, but he's spouting a lot of nonsense. Summon him first. Yi Zichen smiled, while a sinister light flashed across Gu Li's eyes. He must make this person pay the price. He glared sinisterly at Yi Zichen, then closed his eyes and muttered something incomprehensible to Yi Zichen. Gradually, a faint aura of death appeared on his body. A black pillar shot into the sky, and not long after, a ghost wearing the black impermanence uniform and holding a wine gourd appeared in the training field. Brat, why did you summon me? Black impermanence snorted arrogantly. When Gu Li saw him, he immediately bowed respectfully. Marshal Zhang, our Gu family used to worship the ghosts and deities of the underworld, but no ghosts and deities have descended recently. I summoned you here because... Troublesome. The black impermanence shook his head in displeasure. The Gu clan head, who was sitting on a high seat, was completely dumbfounded. He really was an emissary of hell. He hurried over and said with a humble expression, Marshal Zhang, I'm the leader of the Gu clan. Can you tell me why the ghosts and deities of the underworld haven't been descending recently? I'm a little tired. Bring me some good food and drinks. The black impermanence did not answer the Gu clan leader's question. Instead, he crooked his finger at Guda. Good immediately flew up from his chair, and the short fatty also sat on his seat at that moment. Go prepare some food and drinks. The ancient clan head shouted out anxiously. Everyone from the ancient race looked at this short fatty with respect. Yizichin raised his eyebrows, then walked beside him. Bang! He kicked the short fatty down from the chair with one foot. How dare you? Gu Li's eyes widened as he cursed. The surrounding ancients frowned as well. The short fatty's face was also filled with anger. Mother asterisk her, this person actually dared to kick him. No, how could this person kick him? He subconsciously looked up, but when he saw Yizichin's face, his head buzzed. You sure know how to act cool, calling yourself a ghost marshal. If I bring Xie by an ox head and horseface here, wouldn't they beat you to death? The ghost that Gu Li summoned was none other than the black impermanence in turn that Yizichin had taught a lesson to. Boss, it's my fault. Please don't take it to heart. The black impermanence trainee quickly stood up and wiped the chair with his sleeve. Please sit. At least you're smart. Yizichin pointed at him, while the black impermanence in turn nodded and bowed like a grandson. The members of the Gu family were dumbfounded. How could this be? It seems like this Lord Helgard is very afraid of this young man. Marshal Zhang. Gu Li also frowned. The black impermanence trainee slapped his head and scolded. What special Marshal Zhang? Don't randomly call me that. Good hit. Hit that grandson a few more times. I don't like him. Yizichin crossed his legs leisurely with a smile. Alrighty, no problem. The black impermanence trainee smiled, then started to punch and kick Gu Li. The surrounding people did not dare to stop the fight at all. After a long while, the black impermanence trainee retreated under Yizichin's signal. At this moment, Yizichin also mocked. What do you mean? Look at what you called over. It's too low-leveled. Gu Li clenched his fist tightly. He could not understand why the black impermanence of the underworld would be so respectful towards Yizichin. Yizichin felt even better when he saw Gu Li's ugly expression. This kid is definitely hopping mad right now. He endured for 10-odd years just to become the junior family head and to be able to interact with the ghost servants of the underworld. If it wasn't for Yizichin's appearance, he would have definitely become the junior family head. However, it was Yizichin who'd ruined everything. Old man, it looks like I don't need to summon anything else. Yizichin smiled playfully. The Gu family head was stunned for a moment, then shouted towards the surrounding people. I declare that from now on, the Gu clan's patriarch will be Gu Tian. Patriarch. Gu Tian was a little dazed as he sat on the chair. Wasn't this just a young clan head election ceremony? How did he become the clan head? At the same time, the Gu clan leader walked to Gu Tian's side and placed a square seal in his hand. This seal was the token of the Gu family's patriarch. Little Tian, from now on, you will be the patriarch of our Gu family. In the future, you will be in charge of everything in the Gu family. Of course, if there is anything you don't understand, feel free to come and ask me. The Gu clan head smiled warmly. Gu Tian had a dumbfounded look on his face and didn't reach out to receive the square seal. Grandpa, I know what you want to say, but you being the patriarch is definitely the best choice. The Gu clan head shoved the square seal into Gu Tian's hand and held it. Gu Li clenched his teeth as he watched on the side, then spoke angrily. Why? I won the junior family head election. I was the one who summoned the ghost servants. Gu Tian didn't do anything at all, so why should he be the patriarch? Gu Li, the Gu family head, roared sullenly. Stop causing trouble here. I still haven't gotten even with you for what you did. The Gu family head snorted coldly, then ignored Gu Li. Yizichin, who was watching on the side, also smiled. Gu Tian, you're the patriarch now. Gu Tian, you're the family head now. Go, give your little brother Gu Li the position of junior family head. He pretended to be paralyzed for 10-odd years for this position. You can't let him get nothing, right? The position of junior family head was rather comical. The junior family head could only take over the position of patriarch after he abdicated or died. Now that Gu Tian was the patriarch, then Gu Li's junior family head was a joke. Hee. Gu Li, who stood in the middle of the martial arts field, suddenly laughed coldly. He scanned the surrounding people expressionlessly, Then his gaze finally landed on Yi Zichen. What are you looking at me for? You want to hit me? Then why don't you do it? Yi Zichen slowly shook his head. Gu Tian merely smiled playfully. You guys forced me to do this. As soon as he finished speaking, his expression turned cold and he shouted at the void. Do it. Everyone in the martial arts field was shocked by his shout. Then, a playful laugh sounded out in the sky. Chapter 347. Chapter 347. Demons slaying. A huge spatial crack opened up in the sky like a vertical eye. A group of bronze-skinned men and women walked out from the vertical eye. When the Gu family members saw them, all of them revealed confused expressions. None of them knew about the existence of demons. Only the Gu family head's expression turned even more terrible. My good son, did you miss me? Tuoba Yi held his fan. In a short few days, his body had already completely recovered. He smiled, as if he had forgotten how badly Yi Zichen was beaten up when he turned into a fallen angel. Yi Zichen suddenly laughed when he saw that. A faint spiritual pressure was released from his body. He squinted his eyes at the man in the sky. Or rather, he only had eyes for that man. Is there anyone who looks at their dad like that? Son, be good. The Gu family members all looked at Tuoba Yi in shock when he called Yi Zichen his son. The Gu clan's clan had also looked towards Yi Zichen. As I thought, this child really is Lil Rong's child. Then why didn't she bring this child back to the clan? You didn't get enough of the beating last time? Do you want me to let you experience what it felt like back then? Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. Tuoba Yi shrugged with a smile. It's so sad that you're so mean to me, a father. Brother Tuoba, did you insist on following me over for this child? A man with a medium build beside Tuoba Yi asked. His skin was like that of an African. His hair was as red as blood, while a faint purple aura surrounded his body. Yes, this Brad is my precious son. Be careful when you make a move. I still have to bring him back to the demon race. But your relationship isn't that good. Relationships need to be developed slowly. Just don't touch him. All right. The man nodded non-committally, then slowly descended from the sky. When he descended, he intentionally glanced at Yi Zichen. He could not sense any nether demonic energy from Yi Zichen's body. He frowned slightly, then ignored Yi Zichen and walked beside Guli, General Chioyin. Guli cupped his hands with a smile. At that moment, his heart was already broken, and he was no longer in the mood to endure. That was the position he had been eyeing for more than 10 years, and it was about to fall into his hands. But it slipped away from his hands just like that. Actually, he could lay low and make a long-term plan, but he didn't have that kind of patience. You actually called me out so quickly. I thought you could endure it a little longer. After enduring for so long, I suddenly can't bear it anymore. Actually, this isn't a good choice. Xiao-Yin smiled. He chose to work with Gu Li because of Gu Li's patience and ambition. Ambitious people would have desires. As long as he could satisfy the other party's desires, he would be able to grasp the other party in his hands. I don't want to endure it anymore. Gu Li smiled coldly, then pointed at the surrounding Gu family members and snorted. From now on, I will take over the Gu family. If anyone has any objections, then die. Stop bullshitting, okay? You want to act like a big boss just because you called a few black ghosts over? Someone shouted. Suddenly, Qiu Yin's figure flashed, and he returned to his original position. However, in the crowd, the man who had just sneered fell into a pool of blood. Gu Li smiled calmly as he watched. The Gu family head's eyes were filled with shock and unconcealable rage. He raised his trembling hand and cursed. You're too weak. Gu Li, how dare you collude with the demons? Humph, so what if I colluded with the demon race? The strong are the ones who write history, and the weak are the ones who are written in history. The winner takes all, and the loser takes all. Who cares so much? As long as I can win, it's fine. Gu Li smiled calmly, then turned to the Gu family head. You are old. Hand over your position to me. I can still lead the ancient race to glory. Why do you have to take a liking to that hothead Gu Tian? He's so stupid that he's even acting like a fool. Creak. The Gu family head clenched his fists tightly and stared at Gu Li with a gloomy expression. Then he turned around and shouted at Tuoba Yi. Tuoba Yi, You promised 100 years of stability, 100 years. Ah, my cheap father-in-law. I promised that my Tooba family would not do anything to your Gu family. The people that came to your Gu family this time were brought by Chioin. This has nothing to do with me. I didn't go back on my words at all. The playful expression caused the Gu family head to tremble. He clenched his teeth and engraved Tooba Ye's appearance into his heart, then raised his hand. Fine, fine, fine. The Gu family head snorted coldly. Then he looked up at the Gu clansmen and shouted, Gu clansmen, slay the demon with me. At the same time, Chioin also spoke up. Kill. All of a sudden, the entire training field turned into a purgatory. Miserable wails sounded out, while the entire training field was dyed with blood. Don't kill me. The aboriginals were gradually scared out of their wits. None of those who fled in panic were able to escape death. Stay here. No one can hurt you. Yi Zichen glanced at Gu Tian, then pointed at the spot beside him. It could be said that all of the strongest combatants were by Yi Zichen's side. Big brother Yi. Gu Tian knitted his eyebrows tightly. He clenched his teeth as he looked at the surrounding Gu clansmen being slaughtered like pigs by the demons brought by Chioin. You want us to help? Stop joking. The demons are not to be messed with. We might be able to protect ourselves if we stay together. Fatty Yin frowned. Gu Tian clenched his teeth and twitched his eyes, not knowing what to say. After a long while, he let out a long sigh as he looked at the Gu clansmen falling on the ground, then bowed towards Yi Zichen and company. Big brother Yi, I feel like I have to do something. Lulu, fatty glutton, go and help. Yi Zichen shook his head and sighed helplessly as he looked at Gu Tian's cold back. Lulu was the first to open her eyes wide. What nonsense are you saying? What are you going to do if we all go and help? What else can I do? Yi Zichen rubbed Lulu's head, then squinted his eyes with a smile. Saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. Saving a life is better than building a 7-floor pagoda. These people are all waiting for us to save them. We can't just leave them to die, right? Then if you die, I can die. Yi Zichen smiled confidently. Don't you guys know my identity? I can even become the main character in my stories and books. I won't be in any danger. But hurry up. Yi Zichen frowned. Lulu clenched her teeth and pouted unhappily, then charged towards the demons brought by Chioin. Fatty Yin also let out a long sigh, then walked beside Yi Zichen and whispered a few words into his ear. Yi Zichen's expression drastically changed. Chapter 348. Battle, Part 1. 1,000 Miles of Ice. Lulu raised her hand into the air, and the world instantly turned into a world of snow. A thick layer of ice covered the ground, and the demons who were enjoying their hunting instantly turned into ice sculptures. Humph! Seeing this, Chioin merely sneered. He stuck his left hand into his pocket and raised his right hand. Break! A faint voice sounded out from his mouth. Purple mist permeated the training field, and the ice sculptures on the demons immediately started to crack. Lulu's pale blue eyes flashed with shock. She could feel that the purple mist was cutting off her connection with the ice sculpture. Ouch! At this moment, the meatball-like fatty slipped and crashed into Chioin. Oh my, little girl, the ice you made is too slippery. Lord Fatty's shoes aren't anti-skid shoes, Chioin continuously muttered. However, Chioin's demonic aura was cut off at this moment. Lulu took this opportunity to quickly establish a connection with the ice sculptures. She raised her almond-shaped eyes and shouted, Break! Crack! The ice sculptures on the field shattered into tiny ice crystals. Chioin's eyes instantly turned blood red when he saw the tribesmen he brought die in the ice sculptures. He widened his eyes and suddenly put more strength into his fist. Die! Chioin's fist smashed towards the fatty, who had his back to him, with the force of 1,000 caddies. Lord Fatty, watch out! Go Yuzhan took out a stick from somewhere. He yelled as he leapt into the air and smashed the stick onto Chioin's head. Crack! The wooden stick broke in half, and Chioin looked up with his blood-red eyes. Go Yuzhan gulped, scratched his head with a smile, and looked at the broken stick in his hand. Lord Fatty, save me! Go Yuzhan yelled as he ran backwards. He was on ice, so he slipped and fell onto the ground with a plop. Fuck, your 1,000 miles of ice is a trap for your teammates. Go Yuzhan cursed as he laid on the ground. Xiaoyin looked towards him with red eyes smile. A playful smile suddenly appeared at the corner of Go Yuzhan's mouth. An intricate cross appeared in his hand, and he flipped over at this moment. Holy light illumination. A blinding light was released from the cross. The holy light shone on Xiaoyin's body. His bronze-colored skin immediately seemed to be corroded by sulfuric acid, causing faint green smoke to rise. The green smoke was mixed with a pungent smell, and Xiaoyin let out a miserable shriek. Kid, not bad. You're smart. The fatty smiled faintly as he pulled Go Yuzhan up from the ground. He patted his but with a silly smile, then ran over to Lu's side and pointed at the ice. Look at the ice you made. We're teammates. If I didn't have my cross, I would have been torn apart by that black devil. Little girl, this ice surface of yours is a bit of a cheat. Fatty Een also ridiculed from the side. A sinister laugh sounded out from behind Xiaoyin. The demonic chi around Xiaoyin's body flourished. Within the black mist, everyone could only see a pair of glowing red eyes. Are you two quarreling? Very well, you've really pissed me off. A faint look of fear flashed across Go Yuzhan's face. Fatty Een squinted his eyes and said to the Gu family leader, who was at a loss of what to do, "Take your clansmen and leave. This is no longer a battle you can participate in. Want to leave? All of you stay." Whoosh! A violent gale blew the rocks and ice on the ground into the surroundings. The all-encompassing demonic chi made the night seem even darker. Crap! Fatty Yin's playful gaze gradually turned serious. His heart suddenly sank. He knelt on one knee and slammed his right hand onto the ice. The ice on the ground instantly rose up, forming an ice wall. At the same time, he turned around and shouted to the Gu family leader, "Take your people and leave. Take your people and leave quickly. They are a burden to us now." Okay, the Gu clan's leader wasn't an indecisive person. With a roar, he quickly led the terrified Gu clansmen away. But at this moment, laughter rang out from all directions. I said no one can leave. That chilling laughter caused the hearts of everyone present to sink. There were even people from the ancient race who were scared out of their wits when they heard that laughter. Some of them fell to the ground with their heads tilted sideways. Die! At this moment, Fatty Een raised his head and complained speechlessly, "Don't worry, I won't be able to defeat you." A giant demon shadow pounced towards the ground. "Main body, if you don't have Astra's King come over, I'm not playing anymore. My good son, we haven't seen each other for a few days. Did you miss me?" Tuobi always had a feminine smile on his face. He opened the folding fan in his hand from time to time and kept fanning it. From start to finish, Yi Zichen looked at the man coldly. Not a word was spoken. "Good son, my goal for coming here is different from Xiaoyin's. Even though I'm a devil, I still have to be honest. I promised the ancient race that I wouldn't offend them for 100 years. This time, I just want to bring you to the devil realm." Tuoba Yi smiled sinisterly, while Yi Zichen remained silent. "Ha! You really don't want to talk to your father? What? Are you worried about the situation over there? There's nothing to worry about. With Fatty and company here, your demon brother won't be able to do anything." Only then did Yi Zichen smile. He looked straight at Tuobi's sinister smile, then tilted his head to the left. "You actually said that you, a person of the demon race, care about honesty? I really believe you're bullshit. If you truly care about honesty and protect the ancient race for 100 years, then go and kill that Xiaoyin. We demons are different from you humans. We don't fight amongst ourselves." Tuobi Yi smiled. "We demons are different from you humans. We don't fight amongst ourselves." Tuobi Yi smiled faintly. Tuobi Yi faintly smiled, then a faint smile appeared on his face. "However, if you come with me, it's not as if I can't help you. The prerequisite is that you are still a fallen." "Fallen?" Yi Zichen revealed a playful expression. All of a sudden, a pair of black wings appeared on his back. However, this time, his skin, hair and eyes did not change at all. he was still able to maintain his consciousness and smiled coldly at Tuoba Ye's dissatisfied expression. Are you talking about this? A crazed and heated smile surfaced in Tuoba Ye's eyes. He laughed maniacally, while his mouth opened wide. Yes, 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 that's it. As expected of Tuoba Ye's son. A fallen. Tuoba Ye clenched his fist tightly and roared excitedly. However, Yi Zichen maintained his cold smile and indicated towards Chioyin. You're right. Chapter 349. The Great Battle, 2. His indifferent tone made Tuoba Yi smile faintly. He stuck the fan in his hand into his collar, stretched lazily, and glanced at Chioyin's position. You want me to kill him? What, you don't dare. Yi Zichen smiled calmly, his tone filled with undisguised mockery. Little brat, you're still too young to provoke me. Yi Zichen shrugged. I didn't provoke you. Didn't you want me to go with you? Killing that Chioyin will be the reason for me to go with you. Kill Chioyin. Tuoba Ye's eyes suddenly narrowed into slits as if he was listening to a joke. He spread his hands and laughed. My good son, do you really think your father is stupid? If I kill Chioyin, wouldn't I be at a huge disadvantage when you guys team up? I won't go back on my word like you. You humans are the best at lying. If we talk about honesty with you humans, we will definitely be the ones to suffer in the end. Tuoba Ye narrowed his eyes and pulled out the folding fan in his hand. A crack that looked like a vertical eye appeared in the sky. Tuoba Ye pointed at the crack and said, Follow me to the demon realm. If you go, I'll help you kill Chioyin. I'll kill him right in front of you. Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile. I don't believe you. This is a little difficult. Tuoba Ye twisted his neck and wrinkled his nose. It's not good for us to be in a deadlock like this. How can you say it's a stalemate? With that, Yi Zichen stomped hard on the ground. The stone floor instantly cracked. At the same time, Yi Zichen charged towards Tuoba Ye like an unsheathed sword. Won't everything be resolved if I suppress you? As Fatty Een and company fought with Chioyin, they also paid attention to Yi Zichen's situation. Fatty Een couldn't help but furrow his brows when he saw that they'd already started fighting. I still used it in the end. You still have the mood to care about others at this time? Dong! Chioyin's fist smashed onto Fatty Yin's body, sending him flying tens of meters away. Main body, calling main body. The fat man, who was rolling around on the ground, continuously shouted through his spiritual sense. The current situation was no longer something he could handle. Lulu seemed to be doing the same. She was rubbing her hands together and mumbling something. Now, only Go Yuzhan was left. He swallowed his saliva as he looked at Chioyin's black, demonic body with a rod in his hand. You two have no conscience. You want me to guard it? How the F***CK can I guard it? Bang! Yi Zichen's fist smashed Tuoba Ye's body onto the ground. He didn't know any spiritual techniques, so he fought with his fists. However, after becoming a fallen, his strength seemed to have increased quite a bit. If he just used his fists to hit people, it would also be very threatening. My good son, aren't you being a little unfriendly? I'm your father. A faint laughter suddenly sounded out in the sky. Yi Zichen frowned and looked up, then back at Tuoba Ye, who was under his fist. A substitute. Good son, let's have a proper chat. How can a father and son fight like this? What Tuoba Ye received was a simple punch. Dong! Tuoba Ye's body was instantly sent flying and crashed into a tree near the training field, breaking in half. I hit him. Yi Zichen clenched his fist tightly. He didn't give Tuoba Ye any chance to breathe and immediately chased after him to beat him up. Bang, bang, bang. Tuoba Ye defended himself, while his heart was filled with shock and excitement. The reason he wasn't able to beat Yi Zichen in his fallen form last time was because he was too careless. This time, he had made thorough preparations before coming here, but he was still in a state of being suppressed. It could only be said that fallen demons were extremely talented. His strength had increased greatly in merely a few days. I had to bring him back. Tuoba Ye clenched his teeth and blocked with his arms. The huge force immediately sent him flying. Due to the inertia, Tuoba Ye also shouted toward Chioyin, Bro, come over and help. Brother, come and help. At the capital, A handsome, muscular man looked at the girls passing by on the streets of the capital with a lecherous look. Brother Nameless Place is truly a blessed land. This girl is truly beautiful. No wonder he didn't want Chang'e to come down. If it was me, I wouldn't let Chang'e come down either. The muscular man gulped as he looked at the beauties around him, then scratched his head. I wonder what Brother Nameless is doing. Should I go and find him directly? Handsome. A seductively dressed woman walked past the muscular man. When the muscular man saw her, his eyes instantly emitted a shocking green light. Do you want to go in and play? The woman licked her lips seductively. The muscular man's face turned completely blank, and he subconsciously wanted to nod in agreement. Suddenly, a strong wave of spiritual power came over. Brother Nameless. The muscular man frowned, then pulled his arm out of the woman's before disappearing into the darkness. Didn't you say that the father and son need to have a proper chat? Xiaoyin frowned. We thought back to the pair of wings on Yi Zichen's back. A hint of shock surfaced on his face. Fallen? Your son is actually a fallen. Yeah. Tuobaye's face was filled with a faint complacency. He narrowed his eyes, smiled, and twisted his neck. He squinted his eyes and twisted his neck. The battle prowess of a fallen is recorded in the demon realm. Although this brat just awakened, his battle prowess isn't something that I can match up to. You were suppressed? Xiaoyin was stunned. He understood Tuobaye's strength very well. If he didn't demonify, he wouldn't be Tuobaye's match at all. If I can deal with him, then would I still need to ask you for help? Tuobaye raised his eyebrows. There's no need to worry about the Gu family. As long as we can bring this child back to the demon realm, we won't have to worry about it. As long as we can bring this child back to the demon realm, our contribution to the demon realm is far more direct than taking over a family in the secular realm. Ta, ta, ta. Clear footsteps sounded out from the darkness. Yi Zichen smiled as he walked over step by step. Hee. I called for help. Wings. Fallen. Xiaoyin's expression turned even more solemn when he saw the wings again. At the same time, Toby also squinted his eyes. Do you see that? See Skyfall? A Skyfall who can control his own consciousness. What are you hesitating for? In response, Xiaoyin nodded his head forcefully. Then an ocean of demonic aura was released from his body. In the next moment, his body grew several times larger, while his eyes shone with a blood-red light. Chapter 350. Descend to Obaye's eyelids twitched when he saw Xiaoyin's form. Demonification. That was the innate ability of the Qiu clan of the demon race. It could increase one's strength by several times for a short period of time, but the duration was not very long. It seemed like he wanted to end the battle quickly. Brother Tooba, if I injure your precious son later, please forgive me. Xiaoyin's voice became extremely coarse after demonification, but his tone was filled with indescribable confidence. Injure. That was something that Tooba Yi did not even dare to think about. All he could do was defend. Brother Xiaoyin, what are you saying? As long as we can bring this brat to the demon realm. So what if I injure him? What's more, from the looks of it, he won't come with us unless we beat him up. That's true. Xiaoyin smiled. 2 balls of light appeared in his hands, which he chucked towards Yi Zichen. He whoosh. Yi Zichen quickly dodged the balls of light, then saw Xiaoyin and Tuoba Yi fly up from the ground. Only you guys can fly? Yi Zichen also flew up into the sky with a gust of wind. This idiot, Tuoba Yi squinted his eyes and smiled. Tuoba Yi squinted his eyes and smiled. After demonizing, even demon kings and mid-stage human immortal experts wouldn't dare to fight him head-on. Yet, this idiot dared to chase after him. Brother Xiaoyin, how about you play with him yourself? Don't. Let's attack together, just to be safe. I'm too weak, so I can't demonify for too long. But we should negotiate if we can. I don't want this fight to affect the future of the Fallen in any way. Xiaoyin stared at the wings on Yi Zichen's back with his bloodshot eyes, while Tuoba Yi nodded. Fallen. It had already been 1,000 years since a Fallen appeared in the demon realm. If they could bring this brat back to the demon realm and assimilate him, then it would definitely be a good thing for the demon realm. During the Great War of Gods and Demons, the demon realm lost, so they could only hide in a place like the nether demon realm. However, the god realm occupied a large amount of blessed land. How could they be blessed? That was clearly the demon realm's territory. What can you do even if you fly into the sky? Yi Zichen, who flapped his wings, snickered. Qiuyin also spoke up. I'll give you a choice. Follow us directly to the demon realm. We can give you the best cultivation resources. You will become the demon son of the entire demon realm. As long as you follow us to the demon realm, everything you want will be yours. Even if you live in the modern realm now, the future is still yours. You make it sound so nice. Then help me kill someone. Oh, Qiuyin frowned. Guli, the person who cooperated with you. Yi Zichen said plainly. All right. Whoosh. Qiuyin flew down without a second thought. Guli had already realized that something was amiss. He prepared to run. However, at that moment, Qiuyin landed beside him. Qiuyin, what are you doing here? Come to kill you. With a flash of black light, Gu Li's head separated from his body. Before he died, his eyes were wide open. He couldn't accept this. Captain, hurry up and send someone over. There are too many ghosts here. I can't catch them all. The Black Impermanence trainee shrunk his neck. He was still clutching a few souls in his hands. Seeing that there were still many ghosts floating in the air, and that the resentment in the surroundings was getting stronger and stronger, Cheney quickly pulled out his phone and sent a message to Hell. Mother asterisk Kerr, what the F asterisk CK is this? Whoosh. Qiuyin moved extremely quickly. He flew in front of Yi Zichen with a bloody head in his hand. Guli, you're quite fast. Yi Zichen maintained his smile as he looked at the head in his hands. For some reason, when he saw the blood, he gradually grew excited. I have satisfied your request. Come with us. You will enjoy the highest treatment in the demon realm. Not only me, but even the demon kings and demon emperors of the demon realm wouldn't dare to disobey your words. But I don't want to go. Yi Zichen suddenly chuckled. Qiuyin's face instantly froze. Then he smiled wryly towards Tuoba Yi. You're right. Do it. My good son, it's not up to you to decide whether to go or not. Even if we have to tie you up, we have to tie you up and bring you back. Whoosh. The battles of the demon race were actually much simpler than the battles of deities. After they tested each other out, their battles became purely fists. Yi Zichen's gaze also gradually turned solemn after fighting with the two. It's hard for two fists to fight against four hands. Even though the two of them might not be able to match him individually, he felt rather tired when the two of them attacked him together. F asterisk CK off. Yi Zichen sent Qiuyin and Tuoba Ye flying with a punch and a kick. However, the two of them charged over once again before he even had the chance to catch his breath. Ah, take this. Go Yuzhan somehow flew into the air, then smashed the wooden stick in his hand towards Qiuyin. F asterisk CK off. Qiuyin's punch landed on the stick, causing Go Yuzhan to instantly fall from the sky and create a huge crater on the ground. F asterisk CK. When are you two going to recover? Lousy can't hold on anymore. Go Yuzhan tilted his head, then fainted. Lulu and Fatty Een also became more and more anxious. Go Yuzhan had lost the ability to fight, while Yi Zichen, who was in the sky, was also getting tired of fighting. Main body, if you don't F asterisk king come, then that brat Yi Zichen is going to be beaten to death, Fatty Een cursed. Main body, hurry up and descend. Zhang Junbao is about to die. Is the clan more important, or is he more important? Do you want to lose him again? Lulu also couldn't help but shout. Ugh. Yi Zichen, who was in the sky, finally failed to defend against one attack after exchanging several hundred blows with Qiuyin and Tuoba Yi, causing him to cough up a large mouthful of blood. Demonic Son, Qiuyin and Tuoba Yi instantly did not dare to attack anymore. They didn't want to capture Yi Zichen, but they did not dare to injure him. Yi Zichen wiped away the blood from the corner of his mouth, then licked it with his tongue. Yi Zichen felt a hint of excitement in his heart, then punched Qiuyin and Tuoba Yi. Come on. Sorry, demonic son. Qiuyin clenched his teeth, then charged towards Yi Zichen once again. Tuoba Yi also clenched his teeth and followed after Yi Zichen. Come on, haha, come on. Yi Zichen laughed maniacally, causing everyone on the ground to feel their scalps tingle. Main body, both Fatty Yin and Lu cried out. Suddenly, a holy light suddenly appeared in the sky. The light was as bright as the sun, illuminating the dark sky like it was daytime. This scene, Chapter 351. Palm leaf fan, who is it? Lu and Fatty Yin couldn't help but look up into the sky. Could it be that his main body had arrived? The figure in the air seemed to be a woman. Her body shone with a holy and untainted light, so dazzling that no one could look straight at her. It's you. Tuoba Yi frowned. He was too familiar with the woman before him. Why didn't you listen to what I said to you? Do you think I'm joking with you? Yi Rong was wearing a long white dress, and her face was filled with coldness. The holy light shone on the ground like a spring breeze. The injuries of the wounded were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Xiaorong, the Gu clan leader, was moved, bathed in the gentle light. He raised his head and looked at Yi Rong in the sky. A teardrop fell from his eyes. From now on, my name is Yi Rong, not Saintess Gu Rong. Children, at that time, Daddy was wrong. Who is this woman? Xiao Yin furrowed his brows. His eyes, which flickered with red light, revealed faint disgust. I hate the aura on his body. Hey, that's right. She has the body of a sage, the absolute nemesis of our demon race. Tuoba Yi smiled faintly. Xiao Yin frowned. How did you know? How could I not know? She was my woman back then. She and I gave birth to Skyfall. Tuoba Yi squinted his eyes and smiled. Xiao Yin couldn't calm down for a long time. The child of a saint and a heavenly demon. Fallen sky. Actually, whether it's our heavenly demon tribe or your god tribe, even if we cultivate to the great perfection of the demon overlord, there are still higher existences above us. But in order to break through, only those who possess both the saint and devil bloodlines will be able to take that step. These were the words that Demon Emperor Qiu Mo said when he was suppressed by a perfected immortal. These words have been passed down in the Qiu clan. The son of a saint and a demon. Didn't Demon Emperor Qiu Mo refer to this child? I have to take him to the devil realm. Qiu Yin clenched his teeth, then attacked Yi Zichen once again. At this moment, he wasn't hiding a shred of his strength, nor was he holding back at all. All he wanted was to become stronger, even if he ended up crippling Yi Zichen. As long as it could bring him back to the devil world, everything would be worth it. I'm here, and you still want to act fierce? Yi Rong pointed at the air, and a dazzling ray of light instantly pierced through Qiu Yin's chest. A bowl-sized hole appeared on Qiu Yin's body, while purplish-red blood continuously flowed out. However, he ignored it and continued to charge towards Yi Zichen. This time, it was Yi Rong's turn to panic. She had thought that the opponent would defend. However, from the looks of it, he'd already given up all defense. All he wanted was to reach Yi Zichen. For a moment, Yi Rong had a bad premonition. She quickly dashed towards Yi Zichen's direction. At that moment, Tuoba Yi blocked her way. We can't let them disturb Brother Qiu Yin. You still want to fight me in this state? A playful smile surfaced on Yi Zichen's face. He clenched his fist and was about to charge forward as the spiritual formation appeared in the center of his palm. Qiu Yin spat out a mouthful of demonic blood, causing the spiritual formation to fly up into the sky. A spatial crack suddenly appeared, and a huge suction force pulled Yi Zichen into it, while Qiu Yin coughed up large amounts of demonic blood. The son of a saint and a demon belongs to the demon realm. The spatial crack sucked Yi Zichen's body like an open mouth. Zichen, Yi Rong's eyebrows were tightly knitted together. She wanted to go over, but Tuoba Yi was like a dog-skin plaster, blocking her way. Tuoba Yi smiled faintly and raised his eyebrows as he shouted anxiously. Tuoba Yi raised his eyebrows with a smile. Yes, just call me that. Back then, you had this expression, Gu Rong. Although I don't like you, at least you gave the demon race another fallen. I really have to thank you for that. Tuoba Yi, Gu Rong screamed. The holy light around her became more and more blinding, while golden balls of light left the holy light and bombarded the spatial crack in Shioin. "Brother Tooba, stop that woman!" Shioin roared. "No problem." Tooba suddenly took out the folding fan on his back. In an instant, the folding fan expanded dozens of times. "Bye-bye." He waved his hand towards Gurong, then waved the fan in his hand. Gurong, who was in midair, felt the strength of the wind, and her pupils suddenly shrank. She tried her best to resist it, but this is the plantain fan. You want to resist it head-on? What a joke. Tooba smiled playfully, while Gurong gradually retreated a meter, 2 meters, until she was unable to resist it anymore and disappeared. "Brother Chioin, I'm done here. How's it going on your side?" Immediately, Yi Zichen spat out another mouthful of essence blood onto his palm, causing the suction force of the spatial crack to become stronger and stronger. Even the trees on the ground were uprooted and pulled into the crack. Main body, Lulu and Fatty Yin were about to go crazy. They had a very close connection with the main body before, but this time, the main body did not respond no matter how they shouted. F***CK, Lord Fatty can't take it anymore. With that, Fatty Yin turned around and stood in a horse stance. F***CK, swallowing mountains and rivers. Fatty Yin's mouth instantly turned into a bottomless pit with an extremely strong suction force. The huge suction force instantly became competitors with the suction force of the spatial crack, and they both pulled Yi Zichen, who was in the sky. Lulu watched anxiously from below. She also wanted to go up and help. At that moment, a soft voice suddenly sounded out in her sea of consciousness. "Don't go. Main body is that you. Hurry up and descend. Yi Zichen is about to die." Fatty is using swallowing mountains and rivers to snatch Yi Zichen away from the demon. Swallowing mountains and rivers. A playful voice sounded out in her sea of consciousness. No wonder I felt that Fatty was so strange. "All right, Yi Zichen, don't worry anymore. Someone already went to save him." That Fatty should have received the message from his main body as well. "What? You told Lousy to shut up?" If Lousy shut up, then Yi Zichen would have been taken away by the demons. "What? Someone came to save him?" Fatty Yin continuously retorted to his main body in his sea of consciousness. At that moment, a 3-eyed man in silver robes with a halberd in his hand suddenly appeared in the sky. "Ha!" The man laughed coldly, then glanced at Tooba Yi and Shioin, who had shocked expressions on their faces. Finally, he set his gaze on the spatial crack. The halberd struck out. The crack shattered. Chapter 352. 352 War God Yang. Jin the man was like a god that descended into the mortal world. He stood on clouds and looked down on everyone. "Dying!" He stabbed out with his halberd. Xiao Yin's eyelids twitched as he cursed silently in his heart. "Ugh!" He spat out a mouthful of blood, then instantly arrived beside Tooba Yi as if he had teleported. An expert. Tooba Yi and Xiao Yin couldn't help but frown. F***CK, are you insulting Lousy? You actually ran away? The man's dignified face was suddenly filled with anger. He grabbed the silver halberd in his hand and stabbed towards Xiao Yin and Tooba Yi crazily. "Die! Die! Die! What's wrong with this person?" Xiao Yin and Tooba Yi felt like their heads were about to explode. Why doesn't this person have the demeanor of an expert at all? He's giving off a lowly aura. Still not dying? The man raised his eyebrows. He was truly a bit angry at that moment. He had wanted to take care of the 2 little demons in a very cool manner, but the 2 demons were still walking around in front of him, even after 10 odd strikes. Luckily, I didn't let that damn monkey see it. Otherwise, the man thought to himself. Then a scene appeared in his mind. "My son, if I say you're weak, then you're weak. 2 little guys who can barely be called human immortals have fought for so long. You are still far from your grandpa, son. TSK. The man spat, then shook his head and rubbed his hands. "Die. Erlang Shan Yangjian. Don't you think it's a bit too much to bully a junior like this?" A huge black hand suddenly appeared in the sky. The man paused, then turned around stiffly and stabbed the halberd in his hand towards the hand. Boom! The huge hand shattered. The man squinted his eyes and shouted with the halberd in his right hand. Which scoundrel dares to sneak attack your Grandpa Yang from behind? Hee hee, you're truly becoming more and more lowly. Yang Jian, when can you change your loser aura? A mocking laugh sounded out in the sky. Yang Jian, the person in front of them, was actually Yang Jian. Tuo Yi and Qiu Yin were shocked. No wonder they couldn't even muster up the will to resist this man. Heavenly Court's war god, Yang Jian. It was fortunate that a Demon King level expert from the Demon Realm acted. Otherwise, they would have been turned into dust by this powerhouse. Yi Zichen was also shocked. Erlang shunned Yang Jian. When did he descend to the lower realm? He didn't even tell me on social media. Who the hell are you calling a loser? You only know how to hide in the dark and talk. Come out. Do you believe that I won't beat you until you become retarded? Erlang Shun grabbed his halberd and cursed. You're just like a naughty child, hiding in a corner. Do you really know that I, the elder of your father's generation, can't lower myself to bully a poor child like you? How dare you call me a loser? Come out. I definitely won't hit you. Yang Jian was an expert at quarreling back in the Heavenly Court. Now, his chatterbox was open again. Childish. Can you stop tarnishing your image? A faint sneer rang out in the sky. If you're not convinced, then let's fight. Yang Jian seemed to be too lazy to bother with him. He raised the halberd in his hand high up and stared into the distance. Don't even think about beating me with words. You're still far from being able to do that. If you're not convinced, come out, beat me until I'm convinced. Do you really think that this sovereign doesn't dare to show himself? The Demon King in the sky spoke again. If you're not convinced, then let's fight. Yang Jian replied firmly. Ha ha. This king also wants to feel the glory of the Heavenly Court's war god. Then let's fight. A thunderous laughter rang out in the sky, and a foot that was several meters long stretched out from the void. Not long later, the Demon King's body was completely revealed in front of everyone. He had a face like a bull and horns on his head. His bronze eyes were filled with blood-red color. His 300-meter-long body was like a demon god descending to the mortal world, covering the sky and covering the sun. Everyone was like ants in front of him. They could only look up at his pressure. You really dare to come out? Yang Jian smiled faintly without any fear on his face. Since the war god has invited me, how can this king avoid a fight? The Demon King's reply rumbled in the sky. He hooked his finger towards Yang Jian. Come, let me know that you're not a loser who only knows how to talk. I'll satisfy you. Whoosh. The Demon King shook his shoulder. His silver armor clanged against each other, and the halberd in his hand released a silver radiance. Die. A loud roar came from Erlang Shin's mouth. He stepped on the sky and stabbed towards the Demon King with the halberd in his hand. The Demon King smiled faintly. His hands carried boundless might and grabbed towards Erlang Shin. Not good. Yang Jian cursed in his heart and quickly retreated. However, the huge hand was simply too big and instantly grabbed him. You want to fight with me without even activating your avatar? Aren't you being a little too arrogant? Hee hee. Grandpa wants to go easy on you. Since grandson has made such a request, then Grandpa will satisfy you. As soon as he finished speaking, the third eye on Yang Jian's forehead suddenly opened in the Demon King's palm. Rumble. A huge roar came from the sky. Yang Jian's long body instantly grew several hundred times bigger. Break. With a faint roar, the Demon King's hand uncontrollably loosened. Yang Jian stood proudly in the sky and swept his indifferent gaze over the Demon King. This scene made the two of them look like gods and demons in the sky as they looked at each other from afar. Somewhat interesting. The corners of the Demon King's mouth curled up slightly. Yang Jian also smiled noncommittally. Then, he gripped his halberd tightly and an indifferent look flashed through his eyes. Somewhat interesting. Hee hee. Watch as Grandpa beats you into a retard. The halberd in his hand was so dazzling that people couldn't look at it directly. The two huge figures tangled together. Every time they collided, a huge wave would rise up in the sky. The terrifying sound made people's scalps go numb. Erlang Shin, Go Yuzhan had woken up at some point. He looked up at the godlike Yang Jian in the sky, and felt a fire burn in his heart. Lulu and Fatty Een were also dumbfounded. They didn't expect the person their main body was talking about was actually Yang Jian. The title of the Heavenly Court's #1 war god wasn't just for show. Although the demon god in the sky was huge, he was completely suppressed by Yang Jian. Is this really my bro? Yi Zichen, who landed on the ground, couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. This truly changed his image of Erlang Shan. Bang! A huge hand smashed down from the sky, creating a huge crater in the ground. Yi Zichen and company couldn't help but be shocked when they saw the hand. It was a huge hand that was half 100 meters long. It was very hard to imagine just how big the Demon King's main body was if his hand was so big. But even so, he still let Yang Jian chop off on his hands. War God truly wasn't just for show. Yang Jian, the Demon King's eyes were bloodshot, while purplish-red blood dripped down from his severed wrist. Chapter 353. You got the wrong person. Yang Jian, I'm going to kill you. Yang Jian, I'm going to kill you. The Demon King's eyes shone with a red light, causing the air to be filled with a nauseating smell. When Yi Zichen smelled the pungent odor, he felt his entire body gradually weaken. Bang! 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 The people around him continuously fell to the ground. Yi Zichen subconsciously activated his fiery eyes of truth. The souls of those people were all flying towards the Demon King in the sky. The souls of those who had died long ago and were not captured by the ghost servants of the underworld were also doing the same. Crap! Yang Jian, who stood proudly in the sky, frowned. His third eye could clearly see the souls of the mortals below him becoming nourishment for the Demon King's body. Gradually, the Demon King's strength began to increase. Yang Jian furrowed his brows. If this dragged on, even he would have some trouble facing this Demon King. Puny tricks. Die. Yi Zichen stabbed forward with his right hand. The Demon King's severed hand had already grown back. He licked the corner of his mouth greedily as he toyed with the taste. The souls of mortals are truly great nourishment. Seeing Yang Jian's lance stab over, the Demon King advanced instead of retreating. His fist shone with a black light as he punched towards the lance. Let go! The Demon King roared. The moment the lance clashed with his fist, a ding sounded out. A huge rebound was transmitted to Yang Jian's palm, causing the webbing between his thumb and forefinger to crack. However, Yang Jian continued to hold onto his lance tightly. F***CK, this is getting a bit troublesome. Yang Jian cursed silently. If the Demon King continues to devour him, then he definitely has no chance of winning. Don't worry. Think about what the monkey would do if he encountered this situation. Yang Jian thought to himself. However, no matter how he thought about it, he could only think of one thing. If Grandpa's son encounters him, then I'll just smash him with a stick. We'll talk about whether or not I can beat him after we fight. Damn monkey, why can't you say something nice? Yang Jian cursed in his heart. At that moment, Great Sage Sun, who was eating a peach in Mount Huawa's water curtain cave, couldn't help but sneeze. He frowned, then chucked the peach in his hand to the side, and formed a few seals with his fingers. Yang Jian, what danger did this grandson encounter? I can't tell where he is. Forget it. I can only pray that nothing happens to him. The Heavenly Court's war god Yang Jian is just so. The Demon King laughed wantonly. Yang Jian gritted his teeth after hearing this. Monkey is right. Let's fight first. How can I tolerate this grandson flaunting his prowess here? Bang! Gripping the halberd in his hand tightly, Yang Jian stabbed at the Demon King in a frenzy. Ding, ding, ding. However, what was disheartening was that the halberd was unable to cause any damage to the Demon King's body. It was as if there was a sturdy protective shield around his body that could not be penetrated. Yang Jian, you lost. The Demon King laughed maniacally as he wantonly absorbed the souls of the ordinary people around him. Then his gaze fell upon Yi Zichen. Fallen Sky, come back to the demon realm with me. The illusory hand reached towards Yi Zichen. Yang Jian's heart trembled, and he roared, Brother, run! At that moment, Yi Zichen also felt something lock onto him. He wanted to escape, but found that he was unable to move at all, as if he was frozen in place. Come with me. Holy light, illumination. At that very moment, a blinding holy light suddenly flashed in the west. When the holy light shone on the Demon King's body, his body immediately started to rot. At the same time, a loud roar sounded out in the sky. Yang Jian, what are you waiting for? Ah, thanks. Yang Jian smiled. Since he couldn't do anything to the Demon King, he chopped down with his halberd towards the arm without any hesitation. Zing! Purplish-red blood splattered all over the Demon King's silver armor, while the huge arm fell from the sky, causing a cloud of dust to rise. Ah! The Demon King covered his severed arm with his left hand. Before he could react, Yang Jian, who was holding the halberd, charged towards him once again. Die! The halberd stabbed towards the Demon King's chest in a tricky manner. The Demon King snorted. He looked down and saw that Yang Jian's halberd had already pierced through his chest. Yang Jian twisted the halberd in his hand and pulled it out, causing a huge bloody hole to appear on the Demon King's body. Cough. Purplish-red blood continuously flowed out like it was free. Yang Jian squinted his eyes. While you're down, I'll take your life. Whoosh. The halberd stabbed into the Demon King's head. Crack. The Demon King's head instantly exploded like a watermelon. Yang Jian, this king will remember you. Who would have thought that the Demon King would actually survive this attack? A huge spatial crack appeared in the sky, while the Demon King leaped into it. You want to run? Yang Jian walked forward with his halberd. At that moment, Yi Rong appeared beside him and patted his shoulder, then shook her head. Don't go. That's the demon underworld where the demons reside. If you go, not to mention you, even the 3 pure ones wouldn't be able to return alive. Thank you so much just now. Yang Jian reverted back to his normal form and cupped his hands towards Yi Rong. Yi Rong shook her head with a smile, then turned around and flew towards Yi Zichen. Zichen. Yi Rong hugged Yi Zichen tightly, then looked him up and down worriedly. After a long while, she finally let out a long sigh. It's great that you're fine. I made you worry. Yi Zichen's expression darkened. At that moment, the Gu family head walked over from his side. His murky eyes flickered with uneasiness. When Yi Rong saw him, a hint of sadness surfaced on her face. You too. Lil Rong, the Gu family head said with trembling lips. Yi Zichen's shoulders trembled intensely. He could feel just how much Yi Rong was feeling. However, Yi Rong quickly calmed herself down and smiled towards the Gu family head, Lil Rong. However, Yi Rong quickly calmed herself down and smiled towards the Gu family head. Old Man Gu, this farce has come to an end. Old Man Gu, this farce has come to an end. I feel deeply sorry for the losses of the Gu clan. The people from the Insurance Commission might come to the clan tomorrow to ask about the commotion this time. You should hurry up and clean up this place to avoid bringing unnecessary trouble to the Gu family. Oh, by the way, when the other party investigates, please conceal our presence. Lil Rong, the Gu family head sighed with trembling shoulders. Are you blaming me? What are you talking about? Yi Rong smiled faintly and said, I just don't want to get involved in an unnecessary storm. I believe that Yang Jian feels the same way. Don't think too much into it. Gu Rong, it's your father's fault. Come back. The Gu family head clenched his teeth and shouted. Yi Rong's expression suddenly froze. Then, a wry smile surfaced on her face. Chapter 354. The 12 demon sovereigns, a helpless and bitter smile appeared on the Gu clan leader's face. Gu Tian couldn't help but speak up as well. Auntie, Lil Tian, you have to work harder when you become the Gu family's young family head. Yi Rong patted his shoulder, then smiled towards Yi Zichen. Zichen, let's go. All right. Gu Tian couldn't help but raise his eyebrows as he watched them leave. Grandpa, are we really going to let Annie and them leave just like that? Let them go. A sad smile flashed across the Gu family head's face. I'll let her down back then. Since she doesn't want to come back now, then don't let her return to this sad place. Tisk, you're just playing around with me. Lord can't beat a monkey, but can I not beat you? Yang Jian spat in the direction of the Demon King, then put away his halberd and transformed into the appearance of a muscular man. He walked beside Yi Zichen and raised his eyebrows with a smile. Bro, guess who I am? Hey, you're here as well. The latter part was clearly directed at Yi Rong. Lu and company also revealed a hint of surprise when they saw Yang Jian walk over. They were already a bit confused when Yang Jian came out to save Yi Zichen, but they didn't expect the two of them to actually be brothers. Zichen, go chat with your friend. I'm a bit tired, so I'll be leaving first. With that, Yi Rong leaped up and disappeared from everyone's line of sight. Go Yuzhan couldn't help but gulp when he saw that, then muttered to the people beside him. It seems like Boss Ye's mom is rather vicious as well. Fatty Yin and Lu couldn't help but nod. She is indeed vicious, and not just a normal kind of vicious. We're leaving as well. Yi Zichen smiled, then turned around with Fatty Yin. Go Yuzhan stood on the spot and looked at Yang Jian, then Lu and company with raised eyebrows. Wait, we're leaving just like this? Brat, can't you be a bit more observant? Fatty Yin raised his eyebrows, then grabbed Go Yuzhan's shoulder and scolded. What can you do by staying here? That, Erlang shun Yang Jian, it's my first time seeing him. Go Yuzhan muttered. Stop bullshitting. Are you leaving or not? If you don't leave, you can sleep on the streets tonight. Fatty Yin cursed. Go. I'll go, all right? Yang Jian couldn't help but raise his eyebrows as he watched everyone leave, leaving only Yi Zichen and Yi Zichen behind. Why are they all leaving? Do I have body odor? As he spoke, he put his nose under his armpit and sniffed. Nope. Why did he leave without even saying a few words? Hey, brother, what's the relationship between you and those two girls just now? Yi Zichen was a bit speechless. This guy was rather cool when he was fighting the Demon King. Why did he return to his original form in just a few minutes? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes, then suddenly felt something under his feet. Lowering his head, he saw a folding fan lying at his feet. Don't move. Yang Jian suddenly grabbed Yi Zichen's shoulder, then squatted down to pick up his fan. After reading it a few times, a smile of surprise appeared on his face. It really is a planning fan. Haha, Lousy got rich this time. I can definitely get a lot of money if I sell it to the Heavenly Court's pawn shop. Give it to me. Yi Zichen snatched the fan over and raised his eyebrows. This fan seems to be the one on Tuoba Yi. Yang Jian actually said that it's a plantain fan? You're saying that this thing is a plantain fan? Yi Zichen asked in confusion. It is. Yang Jian nodded with certainty. Bro, this fan might sell for a lot of money. It was very hard to imagine just what kind of poor life Yang Jian had lived before. The first thing he thought of when he saw the treasure was actually to sell it instead of keeping it. Bro, this plantain fan is useless to you. How about you give it to me? When I sell it, we'll split it 50-50. I'll transfer the money to your account. Yang Jian rubbed his hands and gulped. Yang Jian rubbed his hands and swallowed his saliva. The banana fan's ranking among divine artifacts was similar to his three-pointed, double-edged Erlang blade. This was definitely a treasure that all divine artifact collectors in the Heavenly Court would fight for. If he sold it, why don't I believe that this is a plantain fan? Tell me how to use it. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. Yang Jian immediately spoke up. Bro, are you doubting me? All right, then I'll let you know that this is a real plantain fan. Blah, blah, blah. Yang Jian told Yi Zichen how to use the palm leaf fan, causing Yi Zichen's mouth to curl up. Yi Zichen smiled. Just use celestial spiritual energy to fan once. Oh yeah, Yang Jian replied with a smile. Yang Jian replied with a smile. Let me tell you, this thing is quite powerful. Even a monkey back then, then, off you go. Yi Zichen waved the fan in his hand towards Yang Jian. Then, a hint of confusion appeared on Yang Jian's face. He struggled to stand on the spot, but all he saw was Yi Zichen's waving hand. Bye-bye. Yi Zichen really doesn't know how to think about selling such a good treasure. After Yi Zichen waved Yang Jian away, he carefully held the fan in his hand. With the plantain fan, I'll be able to send people flying when I'm in danger. It's definitely a life-saving weapon. In the demon realm, Tuoba Yi, Qiu Yin, and the Demon King, who only had a primordial spirit left, knelt on the ground within a glorious palace, and bowed towards a black dragon statue in front of them. You guys said that a fallen appeared in the human realm? A mighty voice rang out in the palace. Tuoba Yi quickly nodded and replied. Tuoba Yi quickly nodded. Yes, that brat is my son. He is indeed a fallen. Xiao-yin and His Highness the Demon King can testify to that. Why did your son appear in the human realm? He was born from me and a woman in the mortal realm, Tuoba Yi replied. Xiao-yin also spoke up. That woman is a saint. Oh. The voice in the palace was slightly surprised. Then, he ignored the question and spoke to the Demon King. Why do you only have a primordial spirit left? I was injured by Yang Jian and that saint woman. The Demon King clenched his teeth. If it wasn't for that woman, Yang Jian would definitely not be my match. He ignorant. The voice in the palace sneered. Hearing that, the Demon King instantly lowered his head. The Heavenly Court's war god isn't just saying. Do you think that he can't beat you even without the Saintess? The Demon King kept his mouth shut. Suddenly, a black pill appeared in front of him. You saved Tuoba Yi and Xiao-yin. This pill is for you to reconstruct your demonic body. However, you rashly started a war with the Heavenly Court's war god. Go and receive your punishment. Yes. The Demon King left with the pill, while the voice in the palace sounded out once again. You two don't need to care about the fallen. Leave. Yes. Tuoba Yi and Xiao-yin also nodded and left. All of a sudden, the scene in the palace changed. Chapter 355. The Heavenly Court's phone charging method whoosh. A fiery red bonfire suddenly started burning. In the long hall of the palace, there were 12 chairs beside a long black table. One of the chairs was empty, while the other chairs were occupied by men and women with different expressions. What does Master want us to say? Naturally, it's about that fallen, the man on the throne smiled. I want to hear what you all have to say. That's not a fallen. If what that little guy Xiao-yin said is true, then that fallen is actually the son of a saint and a demon, said a red-clothed, red-haired man with a huge sword on his back. Back then, the Demon Emperor said that if we want to take the final step, we have to have the bloodline of a saint and a demon. I feel that we demons should fight for this son of a saint and a demon, said an elder with white hair. Son of a saint and a demon. That sounds really powerful, said an extremely bewitching woman. She licked her lips, and a strange look flashed across her alluring eyes. I wonder what he tastes like. I don't think there's a need to care about it. At this moment, one of the 11 people suddenly voiced out a different opinion. Oh, the man on the throne raised his eyebrows. Tell me the reason. It takes an extremely long time for the son of a saint and a demon to form. It's not like our demon race has never produced a son of a saint and a demon before, but has any of them ever reached the level of a demon sovereign? The long-haired man's eyes flashed with indifference as he spoke. We invested large amounts of resources on them, causing the younger generation of demons to enjoy very few resources. However, this is the result of our endless investment. Back then, the Demon Emperor did indeed say something like that. But could it be that what the Demon Emperor said was the truth? Everyone in the palace looked towards the man. The long-haired man smiled again. Breaking through depends on talent and hard work. Breaking through depends on talent and hard work. If you have the time, you should focus on your cultivation. Right now, we should focus on the Yellow Emperor's reincarnation. Even if that son of a saint and a demon is really talented, we could just snatch him over when the time comes. What do you all think? The man on the throne smiled faintly. The older elder below spoke up. The elder below spoke. I still feel that we should bring back the son of a saint and a demon. Since there's a disagreement, I'll make the decision. The man on the throne touched the corner of his mouth. The Yellow Emperor's reincarnation is naturally the demon race's top priority. We can't give up on the son of a saint and a demon either. Isn't Lian Hua in the modern realm? Just leave it to her. Seconded. 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 Everyone nodded in agreement. The man on the throne also nodded with a faint smile. All right, let's stop here then. At this moment, a man with a blade of green foxtail grass in his mouth outside the palace smirked. The son of a saint and a demon. Interesting. Brother, This place is really a blessed land. Yang Jian was wearing a Hawaiian suit and a pair of black sunglasses. He squatted on the side of the street like a hooligan and stared at the fair legs of the passing girls. Even though it was a banana fan, to a great immortal like him, its deterrence was relatively weaker. However, after being slapped out once, he understood that Yi Zichen wanted the plantain fan. Ever since he came back, he never mentioned selling fans again. It's all right. Originally, Yi Zichen had wanted to rest properly, but Yang Jian dragged him out for a walk, so he couldn't refuse. Thus, he could only squat on the side of the street with Yang Jian and stare at the fair legs of the girls on the side of the street. Hey, look at that and that. Oh my God, is this really the human realm? I haven't become a deity yet. The girls back then weren't this pretty. Yang Jian continuously exclaimed as if he had discovered a new continent. Then, he patted Yi Zichen's shoulder with a smile. Bro, not bad. No wonder you didn't want Chang to descend. If it was me, I wouldn't let her descend either. Yi Zichen sighed helplessly. Yang Jian didn't know just how amazing makeup techniques were, nor did he know how advanced plastic surgery technology was. If they were all barefaced, perhaps he wouldn't be so excited. Yi Zichen took out a cigarette from his pocket and handed one to Yang Jian. Then, he suddenly heard his phone ring. Yang Jian took out his phone and looked at Yi Zichen's phone like a curious baby. Bro, you're using this to contact us? It seems like it's a lot more advanced than our black technology. With that, Yang Jian took out a straight phone from his pocket, which looked similar to the phones from a few years ago in the modern realm. Look, Yi Zichen subconsciously took the phone. Their phones weren't especially heavy. It was as if they didn't have any batteries. Yi Zichen had always had a question in his heart. How did the heavenly court generate electricity? How did the internet come about? Yi Zichen couldn't help but return the phone back and raise his eyebrows. How do you charge your phones? Does the heavenly court have internet as well? Charge. Yang Jian was stunned. Are you talking about charging the phone? We all charge it with celestial spiritual energy. Bro, aren't you the same? Charge it for me. Yi Zichen handed the phone over. Without saying anything else, a faint glow appeared in Yang Jian's hand. The phone only had 50% of battery just now, so it was already full when Yang Jian returned it. Just charge it like this. So high-end. Yi Zichen was stunned. No wonder Han Xiangzi said that it worked when I sent it over. So they don't need to generate electricity at all. They are power banks themselves. Bro, aren't you charging like this? Yang Jian was stunned. Yi Zichen ignored his question and asked once again. Then how do you guys contact each other through phones? The heavenly court has the immortal net, but I don't seem to be able to get a signal from the immortal net over here. Yang Jian replied plainly. Causing Yi Zichen to be completely confused. Immortal net? Then the underworld should have the underworld net? But how did I manage to contact them with the human net? Could it really be a main character halo? At that moment, the phone in Yi Zichen's pocket buzzed once again. Yi Zichen frowned and opened up the social media app on his phone. Recently, there was no one in his contact list and no one talked to him. However, there was a small red one in his contact list. Bro, how did you get up? I researched it for the entire night yesterday, but I couldn't get up. Yang Jian handed the phone over. The social media app continuously showed that he was connecting to the login screen, but he couldn't get into the main screen. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. This guy really talks too much. I'm listening to him every single day. I'll tell you later. After calming Yang Jian down, Yi Zichen clicked on his new friends. When he saw the friend request, he subconsciously looked at the plantain fan in his pocket, then said to Yang Jian. Chapter 356. Meeting Chu Qitong by chance, Yang Jian was startled, and his eyes revealed a faint daze. Princess Iron Fan, why are you looking at me like that? You don't know Princess Iron Fan? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Yang Jian immediately waved his hand. I don't, I've just heard of her. She doesn't belong to the heavenly court and isn't particularly familiar with you. If you want to talk about familiarity, it should be the monkey. Back then, he was the devil incarnate together with the bull demon king. You should look for him. Yi Zichen naturally understood this. He had read Journey to the West so many times. If he didn't even know this, then he would have lived for nothing. He was curious how Princess Ironfan could only find his social media account if she wasn't from the Heavenly Court. Yi Zichen scratched his head, then accepted the friend request. The planted fan is in your hands. Yi Zichen couldn't help but sigh when he saw the cold intimacy level. It seemed that this conversation would not be particularly pleasant. Yes, it's in my hands. May I ask, can you return the fan to me? Princess Ironfan instantly replied, I lost my banana fan when I was traveling a while ago. I've been looking for it for a long time. Why was his luck so bad? Yi Zichen couldn't help but retort silently. The plantain fan hasn't even warmed up in my hands, and the owner already came over to ask for it. Are you still there? Although it was a cold intimacy, Princess Ironfan's tone was very polite. If she was a bit more forceful, then Yi Zichen might have to be forceful as well. However, the main point was that the other party's attitude was especially proper. He couldn't live with his conscience if he wanted to blackmail the banana fan. All right, I'll give it to you. Yi Zichen scanned the plantain fan reluctantly and sent it over to her. Ding dong. Princess Ironfan has received your red packet. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Princess Iron Mountain has increased by 100. Intimacy level has leveled up. Current intimacy level, friendly. Thank you so much. You are such a good person. He was even given the good guy card. Yi Zichen smiled wryly, then typed on the screen. Be careful not to lose it again in the future. Not everyone will return it to you if they find it. You're right. I'll be more careful in the future, Princess Ironfan replied politely. Yi Zichen originally wanted to reply. The message you sent has been rejected by the other party. F***CK. Yi Zichen glared and stood up, then blocked him. Originally, when he returned the banana fan, he was already feeling a little unwilling. He kept consoling himself that he was using this thing he picked up to exchange for some intimacy points, but wasn't this too F***king realistic? He had just sent the plantain fan to her, and she blocked him? This woman, Yi Zichen continuously retorted in his heart. At that very moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Yi Zichen looked up and saw an extremely beautiful woman standing in front of him. Yang Jian, who was watching from the side, was already dumbfounded. His mouth was wide open, and he almost drooled. Why are you so angry? You are? Yi Zichen frowned slightly. He had no impression of the woman in front of him. You can't tell? The woman smiled, then glanced at Yi Zichen's chest. You're cursing a certain woman in your heart right now, right? That woman stole your treasure? Chu Qitong. Yi Zichen was shocked. Chu Qitong was the only person he knew who could read minds so well. But at that time, her face was full of scars. Your face has recovered? Yeah. I really have to thank you for developing this product. Chu Qitong smiled faintly and stroked her smooth cheek with her finger. If it wasn't for your product, I might not even be able to show my face to others. You're my benefactor. There's no need to be so serious. Yi Zichen smiled coyly. At that moment, Yang Jian, who was standing to the side, subtly tugged on Yi Zichen's clothes and shot him a meaningful glance, signaling him to hurry up and introduce himself. Hello, I'm Chu Qitong, Yi Zichen's friend. In front of this woman, any little tricks were useless. She stretched out her hand first. Yang Jian saw it and quickly rubbed his big pants with her hand. Hello. I'm his brother. You are so beautiful, even more beautiful than Chang, E in the sky. This Mr. Sure knows how to joke. Chu Qitong covered her mouth and chuckled. It seemed like Yang Jian's flattery was very pleasing to her. I'm telling the truth. Yang Jian giggled. You're much prettier than Chang. You make it sound like you've seen Chang Yi before, Chu Qitong replied with a smile. Yang Jian seemed like he wanted to say more, but Yi Zichen quickly covered his mouth when he saw that. This woman was not a simple woman. If he continued to speak, she might even be able to guess Yang Jian's identity as Erlang Shun, even though it was rather shocking to mention it in front of mortals. But this woman was different from normal mortals. Oh, Chu Qitong raised her eyebrows. Yi Zichen's heart raced when he saw her meaningful smile. He did like to interact with beauties, but he really didn't like to interact with beauties that were too smart. For example, Chu Qitong in front of him. Chatting with her was like standing naked in front of her. It was a very strange feeling. Don't be nervous. I didn't guess anything. Boss Yi, your friend is not normal. F***CK. You're still saying you didn't guess anything? Haha, you can actually tell that I'm not normal. Did you feel my slap? Yi Zichen slapped Yang Jian's head. He's still trying to act dumb in front of a woman, even at a time like this. Bro, don't speak. Yi Zichen glared at him, then changed the topic with a chuckle. The weather is really nice. The weather in the capital isn't as bad as the people in Bingsheng said. Boss Yi, you're really good at changing the topic. Chu Qitong smiled. You might as well ask me why I'm here. Why are you here? Yi Zichen was showing off his shamelessness. Since you told me to ask like this, then I'll ask. Seriously. Chu Qitong shook her head helplessly, then pointed at the car behind her. Maintaining Beauty Corporation is going to set up a branch in the capital. I'm just about to rush over to get it cut. You're setting up a branch? So quickly? Maintaining Beauty Corporation had only been established for a little over a month. Yi Zichen really could not imagine that they would be setting up a branch in the capital in such a short amount of time. You sure are having a good time being a hands-off shopkeeper. Right now, Maintaining Beauty is making a lot of money. If you see the transaction amount, you will definitely be shocked. Chu Qitong smiled faintly. Chu Qitong smiled faintly, then pointed at the seat behind the car and raised her eyebrows. Chapter 357. A press conference. When Yi Zichen arrived at the Maintaining Beauty Corporation's branch office in Chu Qitong's car, he was truly shocked by the scene in front of him. The scale of the branch office was comparable to the headquarters. In a place like the capital, where every inch of land was worth its weight in gold. The fact that Maintaining Beauty Corporation was able to set up such a large branch office was enough to show just how much internal funds Maintaining Beauty Corporation had. Don't be dumbfounded. You're the behind-the-scenes boss of Maintaining Beauty Corporation. You're embarrassing Yumei like this. Chu Qitong smiled. Chu Qitong smiled. Just at this moment, Li Shuang walked out of the office wearing her business attire. She walked over with a smile on her face. Director Chu, you came. Yeah, I even brought your boss. Chu Qitong indicated towards Yi Zichen with a smile. Chu Qitong indicated towards Yi Zichen with a smile. When Li Shuang saw him, she immediately smiled. Boss. When Yi Zichen arrived at the company, he saw that the hall was filled with reporters. There were also plenty of successful people chatting in the hall. Xiao Yumei wore a light blue dress as she chatted with the people around her with a smile that was just right. Yumei. Chu Qitong waved her hand with a smile. When the people around Xiao Yumei saw her, they all nodded with a smile and left. Why did you come? She was clearly speaking to Yi Zichen. After not seeing her for a long time, a small flame ignited in Yi Zichen's heart. What? Can't I come here? You're really something. You didn't even tell me that you came to the capital. Yi Zichen said with a hint of jealousy. Hearing that, Xiao Yumei pursed her lips with a smile, then pinched his cheek. I wanted to come and find you after I was done with work and give you a surprise. I wanted to give you a surprise after I was done with my work. I didn't expect Xiao Tong to bring it to you. What? It's my fault for bringing you here? Chu Qitong raised her eyebrows with a pout. The relationship between the two girls in front of him was clearly ridiculously good. They clearly weren't so close when they were in the capital. How long has it been since then? But the two of them have already become like good friends for many years, as I thought. The feelings between women aren't something that men can understand. Bro, why are all the women around you so pretty? Yang Jian bumped Yi Zichen's shoulder. If we go to the heavenly court, then those animals are going to explode. We're good brothers, right? Introduce me to someone when you have time. It's fine as long as they're around the same level. Yang Jian's requirements were rather high. Even with Yi Zichen's experience, he hadn't seen many people of Xiao Yumei's level. What's more, even if he introduced her to Yang Jian, so what? He couldn't stay in the modern realm for too long. When he returned to the heavenly court, was he going to bring that woman along? If he dared to bring her along, the young lady might not be willing. Don't be silly. You should search among the rich families in the heavenly court. If you really think that the women in the heavenly court are not good without makeup, I'll take some time to give them a few makeup classes. Chong, you'd said that the skincare products I gave were too lousy. Then what about the makeup? The Heavenly Court probably hadn't researched cosmetics, right? Back then, he saw from Tai-Bai jinxing that even the 7 fairies didn't wear makeup. Brother, what did you just say? It's nothing. Don't even think about the girls in the modern realm. Just find them in the Heavenly Court. When I have time, I will definitely raise the beauty of you Heavenly Court ladies to a whole new level. Makeup class. Loving beauty was a woman's nature. Yi Zichen could already imagine how popular the class would be. Perhaps when he starts the class, people like the Queen Mother of the West and Guan Yin Bodhisattva would all enter the class. Hearing that, Yang Jian raised his eyebrows. Bro, are you serious? There were no ugly women, only lazy women. As long as the women in the Heavenly Court truly wanted to be beautiful, then Yi Zichen would definitely be able to raise their beauty to a whole new level. Yi Zichen patted Yang Jian's shoulder confidently with a smile. When have I, your bro, ever lied to you? Boss, Director Xiao, the press conference is ready. At that moment, Li Shuang walked over from the side with a giggle. Seeing that, Yang Jian bumped Yi Zichen with his shoulder again, as if to say, this isn't bad. Xiao Yumei rolled her eyes at him in annoyance, then nodded with a smile. Since you came as well, then let's go together. Since you're here, let's go together. I'll give you a chance to slap yourself in the face. Me? Slap my face back? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows in shock. He didn't understand what Xiao Yumei meant by slap his face back at all. Chu Qitong smiled on the side. Why are you so surprised? Aren't you the boss of this corporation? What's there to be surprised about attending a press conference? Young man, you still have to train. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at Chu Qitong's mature look. Yi Zichen cracked his neck and smiled. Then let's go. At the venue of the press conference, the reporters in the room all stood in the room with solemn expressions as if they were facing a great enemy. The people standing around them were all their enemies. Of course, what they cared more about was their salary. Only by asking rather sharp questions would they be able to attract the attention of the masses. Director Xiao is here. Someone shouted, causing the reporters in the room to continuously click on their cameras. It was the first time Yi Zichen had experienced something like that, so he couldn't quite accept it. We have half an hour. All right, let's begin. Xiao Yumei sat calmly on the chair. Yi Zichen gulped, then sat beside her like an obedient baby while staring blankly in front of him. Director Xiao, according to what I know, Maintaining Beauty Corporation has only been established for 40 days. May I ask, how did you manage to make Maintaining Beauty Corporation so big in such a short period of time? I feel like we should let our Director Yi answer this question. Let me tell you guys, I'm actually just an employee. The person beside me is the true person at the helm of Maintaining Beauty Corporation. Xiao Yumei pointed to the seat beside her with a smile. All of a sudden, the reporters in the room exploded. The CEO of Maintaining Beauty Corporation, Director Xiao, was actually just an employee. She actually had a boss behind her. More importantly, the mysterious boss actually appeared this time. The hearts of all the reporters jumped. They thought to themselves that they were right to come this time. They actually caught a big fish. Director Yi, may I ask you? Director Yi, may I ask you? Director Yi, may I ask you? The reporters in the room all shouted their questions, causing Yi Zichen to be unable to hear them at all. At that moment, his mind was completely blank. He never would have thought that Xiao Yumei would actually sell him out just like that. He was just a normal university student. He didn't know how to answer this sort of PR question at all. Xiao Yumei was also a bit nervous. She was doing this for Yi Zichen's sake. This was because she accidentally found out a bit about Yi Zichen's past. That person actually dared to slap her little man's face. She was going to make her little man slap his face. Make that person regret his decision back then. This was merely the first step. He definitely couldn't fall in front of these old foxes. Chapter 358. Set a small goal. Chu Qitong, who was standing in the corner, burst into laughter. At the same time, she gave Xiao Yumei a thumbs up. This move was ruthless enough. She had unintentionally investigated Yi Zichen and found out that a certain Yang family business tycoon in the capital had once used money to insult him. She accidentally revealed it to Xiao Yumei. At that time, Xiao Yumei said that she would definitely make that man regret it. he didn't expect it to be today. Chu Qidong knew very well that Xiao Yumei needed a chance to make her family regret. This was clearly the best chance, but she gave it to Yi Zichen. The relationship between the two of them is really good. I even wanted to get involved. Chu Qitong smiled helplessly. I feel so guilty. Forget it, there are many good men out there. I'll look for them when the time comes. Unfortunately, I'm quite interested in this child. The swarm of questions caused Yi Zichen's head to buzz. At that moment, he felt like he was seeing double when he looked at the reporters. If you want to ask questions, please do so one by one. If you continue to be disorderly, then this Q&A will end early. The moment Xiao Yumei spoke, the reporters immediately quieted down and didn't dare to say another word. However, they had the same question in their minds. They could clearly see the nervousness on Yi Zichen's face. Would the boss of such a big company be nervous when faced with a reporter's question? Also, wasn't he a little too young? After suppressing the reporters, Xiao Yumei silently reached out her hand and held Yi Zichen's hand with a smile. Don't be too nervous. Just say something nice. He's still looking at that young guy. You can't let him look down on you. You're my man. Boom. Yi Zichen's mind went blank. He looked at Xiao Yumei in shock and wondered how she knew about him. A warm smile appeared on Xiao Yumei's lips, while Yi Zichen nodded heavily. Turning his gaze to the reporters, he was no longer as flustered as before. He looked at the group of reporters with a faint smile and chuckled. Begin. Each person can only ask one question. Chairman Yi, judging from your age, you seem to be a university student? The one who spoke was a female reporter. Yes. Then, sorry, you no longer have the right to ask questions. Next. Yi Zichen's words were filled with dominance. Hearing that, the female reporter stomped her feet and silently cursed herself for asking such a low-level question. Chairman Yi, you're able to establish such a large group at such a young age. Do you have some amazing background? Do you think I would tell you if I have any shocking background? Yi Zichen smiled indifferently. I don't have any background. I'm just a normal university student. To be able to establish such a large group, it's only because I have good projects in my hands. You should also know that there are several investors in my company. Chairman Yi, how did you manage to make maintaining beauty expand so quickly in such a short period of time and reach its current scale? First of all, the product developed by our company are outstanding enough to occupy the market quickly. Secondly, set a goal. Yi Zichen smiled calmly. First, set a small goal. For example, earn 100 million in this month. As soon as he said that, all the reporters present were shocked. 100 million. A small target. Just listen to his casual tone. Earn 100 million in a month. The press conference suddenly became terrifyingly quiet. Even Xiao Yumei, who was on the side, couldn't help but be stunned. Then a bright smile blossomed on her face. My little man is truly charming. Chu Qitong, who was in the corner, also revealed a charming smile. How can I not be interested in a man like this? Small goal, he really dared to say it. Huh. The reporters were shocked. Yi Zichen felt great. He had imagined countless scenes of him acting like a C***, but he felt that this was the most realistic one. Director Yi is truly young and promising. No wonder he could become the boss of such a large corporation to be able to set such a goal. The reporters in the press conference gradually recovered from their shock. One of them smiled. Then have you ever doubted what to do if you can't reach it? At least setting a goal is the right thing to do. Even if you can't earn it, earning 80 million, 50 million is still good, right? What's more, this is just a small goal. If you can't even reach this kind of small goal, then how can you talk about a big goal? Yi Zichen replied with a faint smile. The surrounding reporters were speechless once again. They had followed Yi Zichen for so many interviews, but this person could be said to be the most heroic. Chairman Yi, most people of your age should be enjoying their school life. What caused you to think of establishing a corporation and making it so big? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows when he heard the reporter's question. She really knows what to do. Actually, he didn't want to have anything to do with Yangjin anymore. However, since Xiao Yumei wanted to stand up for him, then he couldn't let her woman's good intentions down. What's more, he actually wanted it in his heart as well. He wanted to make that arrogant man regret it. I have to thank a person back then. He can be considered a benefactor now, right? Back then, I dated that benefactor's daughter. Since I didn't have a background similar to his, that benefactor used $1 million to make me leave his daughter. Let's not talk about it. I'm rather grateful to him now. If it wasn't for him, then there wouldn't be the current me. Then may I ask what your relationship with Director Xiao is? It seems like the two of you are very close. Let me answer this question. Xiao Yumei smiled warmly. Xiao Yumei smiled warmly. Actually, I'm his pursuer. I love him a lot. All right, let's end the press conference here. With that, Xiao Yumei held Yi Zichen's arm and left. After they left the room, Chu Qidong walked out from the side and gave Xiao Yumei a thumbs up. Domineering, you actually dared to say something like that in front of those guys. Aren't you afraid of them writing nonsense? Your words just now revealed a lot of things. So what? I don't care. Xiao Yumei smiled, then hugged Yi Zichen's shoulders tightly. I'm not afraid of anything with him here. Yi Zichen felt moved. He raised his hand and caressed Xiao Yumei's hair with a warm smile on his face. I really can't compare to you. Chu Qitong let out a sigh, then smiled towards Yi Zichen in a secretive manner. But Director Yi is really amazing. Setting a small goal, like earning 100 million first. Wow, that's such a small goal. This truly is a small step for Director Yi, but a huge step for humanity. It's all right, I'll maintain it. Yi Zichen smiled. Chu Qitong nodded. All right. Chapter 359. Chain reaction. Yi Zichen suddenly raised his eyebrows when he saw the faint smile on Chu Qitong's face. Why are you looking at me like that? All right, I admit that I told Yumei about that. Big boss Yi, you can't cancel my agency rights because of something like that. Chu Qitong looked on coquettishly, causing Yang Jian to gulp. The girl's ears so pretty. If it wasn't for the fact that I still have a job in the heavenly court, I might have really stayed in the lower realm. I'm not that petty. Yi Zichen smiled. Yi Zichen smiled. Chu Qitong's delicate face instantly revealed a beautiful smile. That's great, hee. Since the press conference is over, then, big boss, who set a small goal, can you treat us to a meal? You actually need me to treat a big boss like you? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. No matter how big I am, I can't compare to someone like you who has a small goal of 100 million. Chu Qitong's eyes were filled with hidden meaning. He had said it to act dumb. He didn't expect this woman to use it to mock him. Yi Zichen could only roll his eyes in annoyance in order to shut her up. Please, please, please. You choose the location. Then let's go, boss Yi. What Yi Zichen did not know was that his small goal had already exploded on the internet. The replies to his posts on various forums already exceeded 100,000, while he also gained a new title on the internet. Dominating CEO, National Husband, National Love Rival. Even his Weibo was found, causing his number of fans to increase to over 10 million. However, this was merely the beginning. Within a large courtyard house, a middle-aged man turned on the finance channel as usual and heard the contents of Maintaining Beauty Corporation's press conference. He was also very curious about this corporation until he saw the man. Yi Zichen frowned. At that moment, Xiao Yumei also mentioned that Yi Zichen was the final boss behind Maintaining Beauty Corporation. His face instantly froze. Back then, that person used $1 million to get me to leave his daughter. Bang. Yi Zichen turned off the TV. Then a furious expression surfaced on his emotionless face. He smashed the remote control in his hand, the tea table in front of him, the TV. As long as he saw it, it would all shatter. Boss! The bodyguard outside rushed in. When he saw the mess in the room, he was stunned. Soon after, the man raised his head and shouted at the bodyguard. Get out! Get out! The bodyguard left in fear, and the man picked up the cigarette box from the ground, took out a cigarette, and put it in his mouth. Yi Zichen, did you say that on purpose for me to hear? At the same time, in the female dormitory of a certain university, a good-looking girl was holding the skincare product from Maintaining Beauty Group that she had worked for a month and queued for a few hours. As soon as she sat down on the bed, her roommate waved at her and said, Don't worry, Mr. Li. Yeah, you come. Do you think this is your boyfriend? The girl walked over in a daze. There was an eye-catching title on the screen, the behind-the-scenes boss of Maintaining Beauty, said, "Small goal. 100 million. Below, it was a photo of Yi Zichen calmly answering the reporter's questions. She subconsciously snatched the mouse over, looked at the words below, then turned to look at the skincare products that she treasured so much. Yao Yu, he's your boyfriend, right? No wonder you didn't stay in the dorm a while ago. What an overbearing CEO. Set a small goal and earn 100 million first. Wow. Don't forget about us if you become a socialite in the future." Her roommates smiled flatteringly. Yao Yu let go of the mouse in a daze, then sat down on the bed. "Yao Yu, my dad is in the beauty industry as well. Can you let your boyfriend meet my dad?" One of the girls in the dorm suddenly spoke up. This girl came from a relatively wealthy family. In the past, she had always acted high and mighty in front of her roommates. She had never been seen talking to others in a negotiating tone. "He's rather busy recently. Let's wait until he has time." Yao Yu smiled wryly. The girl nodded without hesitation. "That's true. It's normal for such a big boss to be a bit busy. Please help him out when he's busy." With that, the girl took out an unused limited edition LV bag from the bed. Yao Yu had been eyeing the bag for a long time, but she never got it due to its price being too expensive. "Here, this is for you." Yao Yu received the bag in a rather flattered manner, then heard the girl say, "Of course. Of course. You must mention what I said to your boyfriend." "Oh, okay." Yao Yu had wanted to tell the truth, but in front of the bag, as well as her vanity, she chose to go with the flow. Yi Zichen did not know that a single sentence had caused such a chain reaction. At that moment, he was sitting in a hotel in the capital as he responded to the toasts with a headache. Seriously, this woman, Chu Qitong, really could drink. If it wasn't for Yi Zichen secretly using his celestial spiritual energy to circulate the alcohol away, he might have already been drunk by this woman. "Bossy, you have a lot of liquor." Chu Qitong raised her thumb. As she spoke, she raised a full cup of liquor and toasted him. "Were you toasting for this time?" Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows helplessly. This woman always had a reason for toasting. She pretty much said everything to your tolerance. Yi Zichen raised his cup with a wry smile and downed it. Then he saw the woman raise her cup once again. "If you continue to be like this, then I'll suspect that you want to get me drunk and have ill intentions towards me. Bossy truly knows how to joke. I can't take advantage of Director Xiao being here." Chu Qitong replied with a faint smile, but in her heart, she raised her eyebrows. "I really was right. I want to get you drunk. But why is this guy's alcohol tolerance so good? Don't bring me along. If Director Chu likes it, then just take him away at night," Xiao Yumei smiled. However, Yang Jian, who sat at the same table, silently retorted, "Why don't you take me away at night?" "Really?" Chu Qitong's eyes brightened. "Director Xiao is willing. What's there to be unwilling about? At most, I'll just have another sister," Xiao Yumei replied magnanimously. However, Yi Zichen, who was on the side, felt his scalp tingle when he heard that. What kind of topic is this? If we continue, then I might really be sent out. But from the looks of Chu Qitong, it seems like she really wants to. At that moment, Yi Zichen's hand on the table suddenly rang. During this period of time, his phone didn't stop ringing at all. Most of the calls were to hide his heroism. Yi Zichen glanced at the caller ID. "Gu Tian, why is this guy calling me? According to my understanding of him, he isn't very interested in this." Yi Zichen picked up the phone with a frown, then heard Gu Tian shout. Chapter 360. Splashing dirty water within the Gu family. The large manor was filled with people. Many of them were holding knives, spears, and clubs in their hands, looking like they would pull out their weapons at any moment. "Family heads, what are you all doing?" The Gu family head frowned as he looked at the people in front of him. The new family head, Gu Tian, stood beside him. Behind them were some of the Gu family's clansmen and guests. However, due to the matter of the junior family head selection, the Gu family suffered a great loss at that moment. There were not many people who came out to face the enemy. It seemed like they were outnumbered. "Gu Hai, us hidden families have always minded our own business. However, your family actually assassinated the elites of our clans. Shouldn't you give us an explanation?" "Hee, what's there to explain? I think that the Gu family has wild ambitions. They want to weaken our clans so that they can continue to be the leader." The various family heads all spoke up. At the same time, the beautiful woman standing at the very front spoke up. Family head Gu, are they right? Family head Juga. It's easy to pin a crime on someone. All the clans know that our Gu family has been choosing a junior family head recently. How can they talk about assassinating the elites of the various clans? Gu Hai's eyebrows were tightly bunched together as he coldly laughed. I think it's your clans that saw our Gu family's strength weakening. So you want to take the chance to eat us up? A skinny camel is still bigger than a horse. Aren't you afraid of eating too much? Gu Hai, do you have any shame? A middle-aged man with a scar on his face spoke up. Shangwan Xiong, don't think that I don't know that you've been eyeing our Gu family's position for a long time. Ever since your clans came here, you've always been the one to slander our Gu family. Hee. If you want to say that our Gu family assassinated the elites of your clans, then show us the evidence. Gu Hai's face was filled with a cold smile. The other family heads were instantly stunned by his retort, evidence. They really didn't have any. However, it was also true that the elites of their clans were killed. They had investigated for a few days and vaguely came to the conclusion that it was done by the Gu family. The reason they came together this time was to force the Gu family to abdicate. If you want evidence, I have it. Suddenly, a playful laughter rang in everyone's ears. Who? Guli. A skinny figure slowly walked into their line of sight. Guli smiled faintly as he swept his gaze across everyone's faces. Guli, how could it be you? Gu Tian and the members of the Gu clan couldn't help but reveal looks of shock. That day, they'd seen Gu Li's head cut off with their own eyes. Hee, are you surprised to see me? Guli smiled playfully. Then he bowed to the surrounding family heads and smiled. Family heads, I am Gu Li of the former ancient race. However, the Gu clan was unfair in the selection of the junior clan head, and they wanted to kill me. Unfortunately, I managed to escape death. Gu Li, Gu Tian roared with a frown. Gu Li picked his ear mockingly. Don't worry, Gu Tian. What are you shouting for? Are you trying to show off your loud voice? What? Are you unhappy that you didn't kill me? What a good brother. Brat, did you just say that you have evidence of the Gu family assassinating the elites of our clans? Shangwan Xiong frowned. Gu Li nodded with a faint smile. Gu Li nodded with a smile. I originally wanted to help the Gu family hide it, but since they were heartless towards me, then don't blame me for being unjust. With that, he took out a flash drive from his pocket, then took out a laptop from his backpack. Family heads, please take a look. The family heads received it hesitantly, then clicked on the video and sighed. Oh yeah, how's the thing I arranged for you going? It's already in progress. We've already killed 3 clansmen of the hidden families. Their souls are in our hands right now. Very good. Make sure to put the blame on my brothers. Do you understand? Understood. One of the 2 people in the video did not enter the video, and the person's voice was edited. However, the other person was Hua Li, who was beside Gu Tian. The video was very short. When it ended, all the family heads looked towards Hua Li fiercely. Everyone knows that Hua Li is the person that my Tianji trusts the most. Although the other person in the video did not show himself, I believe that all of you are smart people. I can reveal that this video was captured by the camera I installed on Gu Tian. As for why, I believe that all of you can understand my difficulties during the junior family head election a while ago. The beautiful woman with the surname Zhuge also smiled. The beautiful woman with the surname Zhuge also said with a faint smile, Clan Leader Gu, it seems like everything has come to light. Impossible. I've never schemed to assassinate the elites of the various clans. Gu Tian frowned. If it's not you, then the geezer beside you is definitely involved, right? Shangwan Xiong sneered. Gu Tian immediately shook his head. That's also impossible. Elder Hua is the person closest to me. He wouldn't betray me. Hearing that, Gu Hai's expression instantly changed. He had already decided to give up on Hua Li, but Gu Tian's reply clearly tied the 2 of them together. The smile on Gu Li's face became even brighter. My silly older brother, you truly are adorably silly. That's impossible. That's impossible. Young man, do you think we, the patriarchs, are fools? Shangwan Xiong snorted coldly. Gu Hai, hand over this brat and the old man beside him to us. Then we'll give you 50% of the Gu family's resources, and we'll forget about this." The surrounding patriarchs nodded. Gu Hai's aged face was burning with rage. He clenched his fists tightly and shouted angrily, "Shangwan Xiong, you must be dreaming. If you want not our Gu family, we'll at least make you lose a few teeth. Aboriginals, prepare to meet the enemy." "Gu Hai, why are you doing this?" The Zhuge woman shook her head in disappointment. Soon after, she turned around and spoke to the people behind her. "People of the Zhuge clan, don't step forward. As long as the other party doesn't make a move on us, we'll just watch from the sidelines." Zhuge clan leader Shangwan Xiong's expression changed. The woman smiled and replied, "Our Zhuge clan didn't suffer any casualties. Before coming here, I didn't promise to help you deal with the Gu clan. Sorry, our Zhuge clan won't get involved in this mess." "Many thanks, Zhuge clan leader." Gu Hai cupped his hands towards the woman. Then a solemn expression appeared on his aged face. A powerful spiritual energy pressure was suddenly released from his body. "Come, Zhuge Hong, all right." Shangwan Xiong suddenly took a step forward, and the pressure around him instantly resisted Gu Hai's attack. Following Shangwan Xiong's shout, the surrounding family members immediately charged towards the Gu clan's people. Just at that moment, a dazzling golden light descended like a meteor and landed in the middle of the crowd. At the same time, a cold shout sounded out from within the golden light. Chapter 361. Those who cross the line die. This scene greatly shocked the surrounding people, just as they were wondering who the owner of this fierce shout was. "Bro, isn't our entrance amazing?" "Not bad, not bad. It's rather amazing. I'll give this special effect full marks." Soft laughter sounded out from within the blinding white light. Then, a sparkling line appeared 10 meters in front of the family heads. "Those who cross this line die, hiding your head but showing your tail. Laozi doesn't believe that you can kill Laozi." A man behind Shangwan Xiong walked over the line in disbelief. Bang! An afterimage flashed by. No one was able to see who did it clearly. However, the man was sent flying like a kite with its string cut, as he continuously coughed up blood and fell onto the ground. "You," Shangwan Xiong frowned. The person who was sent flying was one of his people. "You don't understand what I said, right? I said that those who cross this line die. He crossed the line." A playful voice sounded out from within the golden light. All of the family heads beside Shangwan Xiong raised their eyebrows worriedly and did not dare to move forward. "I wonder who Sire are. This is a conflict between us hidden families. Sire shouldn't interfere." "So what if I interfere?" All of a sudden, the golden light disappeared. Yi Zichen stood in front of the family heads with a playful smile, while Yang Jian, whose arms were filled with muscles, stood beside him. "Zichen Ji, Big Brother Yi." Two different voices sounded out. Yi Zichen looked up and saw a young figure run out from the other side of Gu Tian. "Zhuge Kongming." Zhuge Kongming's face was filled with joy. However, he stopped when he was about to cross the line and scratched his head. "I'm not going over. Your Zhuge family also came to fight against the Gu family." Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Zhuge Hong walked out from the side with a smile. "Mr. Yi, no need to worry too much. We, the Zhuge family, did not get involved." Yi Zichen was stunned when he saw the woman. Isn't this the Annie that brought Zhuge Kongming back that day? Even though he already had the strength of a false earth immortal, he was unable to step into the air, speak without opening his mouth, and pass through walls like Zhuge Hong did. When Yi Zichen recalled the situation, he couldn't help but feel his scalp tingle. That's good. You guys rest for a while. I'll introduce someone to you later." As soon as he finished speaking, he gestured towards Gutan. "All right, there won't be any problems with me around. Go and watch the show from the side." When Gu Tian left, Yi Zichen set his gaze upon Gu Li, not dead. At the time, Yi Zichen saw it most clearly. Gu Li's head had indeed been cut off by Yin. He didn't expect this kid to still be alive. "How could I not die? It's just that my resentment towards you made me come back to life." Gu Li narrowed his eyes and sneered. Despite his shrewdness, when he saw Yi Zichen, he couldn't completely suppress his fury. If it wasn't for him, he would have been the young master of the Gu family. It was even more likely that the position of clan leader would belong to him. The Gu family would be under his command. Women, wealth, and resources would all be under his control. However, everything changed due to Yi Zichen's appearance. Tsk tisk. Yi Zichen chuckled. Then, he ignored Gu Tian and spoke toward Shangguan Xiong and the other clan heads. You clan heads don't seem to be particularly smart. Don't you know that you were used by this brat? Or perhaps you just needed an opportunity to swallow up the Gu family? At that moment, none of the clan heads dared to speak up. Even Shangguan Xiong was the same. Although they had never seen the young man in front of them, the two hidden families were on good terms with him. As for the muscular man beside him, his strength was unfathomable. We just want an explanation. You want an explanation? Yi Zichen nodded with a smile. Then I'll give you an explanation. Zoom. Yi Zichen's body turned into a blur as he grabbed Gu Li's neck with force. The cause of everything is actually him. I'll kill him and treat it as an explanation for your clans. He gradually tightened his grip, but Gu Li's expression remained calm and composed the entire time. You're not afraid of death? Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. Gu Li smiled. Yes, I'm afraid. Scared, I'm scared to death. But, do you think he's afraid of death? Elder Hua, what are you doing? Yi Zichen turned around in shock and saw Hua Li choking Gu Tian's throat with a crazed look on his aged face. Let Gu Li go. Elder Hua. Gu Tian forcefully grabbed Hua Li's arm, wanting him to let go. His entire face was flushed red, and his legs kept struggling. Hua Li. Yang Jian. Gu Hai roared angrily. Yi Zichen also roared at the same time, while Hua Li suddenly tightened his grip. I know that you have experts here. Why don't we have a competition? Will this old man kill Gu Tian first, or will you kill me first? Yi Zichen quickly shook his head at Yang Jian, then scolded him coldly. Don't be like this. Let Gu Tian go, and I can pretend that nothing happened. Hee. Let Gu Li go first. As Hua Li spoke, his grip on Gu Tian's neck tightened. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then let go bang. Gu Li landed on the ground, clutching his neck and coughing violently, while he also used his gaze to intimidate everyone. He gripped Gu Tian's throat tightly with his right hand and slowly walked to Gu Li's side. Hua Li, good job. Gu Li smiled sinisterly, then looked at Yi Zichen provocatively. Yi Zichen ignored his provocation and shouted towards Hua Li. Can you release Gu Tian now? Don't test my patience and bottom line. Cut the crap. Hua Li glared at him, then turned around to look at Gu Li. I've already done what you wanted me to do. Can you return my granddaughter to me now? You want a granddaughter? Help me complete one last thing. Speak. Kill Gu Tian. Yi Zichen's indifferent tone caused everyone in the Gu family to feel a chill down their spines. Hua Li, how dare you? Ignore their threats. I'm just asking you. Do you want a granddaughter? Gu Li smiled. Hua Li's aged face was filled with struggle. Elder Hua, just kill me. Unexpectedly, Gu Tian actually spoke abruptly at this moment. If it wasn't for you 10-odd years ago, then I might have already died. Treat this life of mine as me returning it to you. Young Master Lil Tian. Hua Li's hand, which was gripping Gu Tian's throat, trembled. Meanwhile, Gu Li's sinister smile covered his entire face. Yo, it's really a touching and heartwarming drama. Unfortunately, I just can't stand this sort of touching scene. With that, he scolded coldly. Chapter 362. Escaped the hearts of the Gu family, and Yi Zichen both tensed up as they stared closely at Hua Li. What are you hesitating for? Kill him. Gu Li roared angrily. The struggle in Hua Li's eyes became more and more obvious. However, for some reason, his granddaughter's cute appearance surfaced in his mind. Damn, Grandpa. You're not even playing with me. Grandpa, look at the little teddy bear I bought for you. It's so cute. Hee. Grandpa. Faint memories filled his mind. Sorry, young Master Lil Tian. Hua Li's gaze suddenly changed. Gu Tian also seemed to feel it, so he shook his head with a faint smile without saying anything. Hua Li's right hand pierced through Gu Tian's chest, causing blood to flow out. Sorry. After apologizing again, Hua Li's hand quickly rushed out and pushed Gu Tian's shoulder bang. Kill him. Return my granddaughter to me. Hua Li's hands were covered in blood as he stared straight into Gu Li's eyes. To his surprise, Gu Li suddenly laughed maniacally. Hua Li, you're truly stupid. What do you mean? Hua Li frowned. Gu Li took out a letter from his pocket playfully, then handed it to him. You probably won't be able to see your granddaughter, but she left this letter for you. Hua Li received the letter. When he saw the words on it, his shoulders and lips trembled intensely. Hua Li, your granddaughter truly treats you well. I scared her that if she doesn't listen to me, then I'll kill you. She actually believed me. To be honest, your granddaughter is actually living pretty well. I still have a lot of memento photos here. Do you want to take a look? Z's, that unrestrained look truly leaves one reminiscing endlessly. Gu Li snickered playfully. Gu Li sneered playfully. While he looked up, his murky eyes completely bloodshot. Gu Li, I'm going to make you pay with your life. Bang. F*CKU. Gu Li kicked Hua Li to the ground, then pierced his chest with his hands without any hesitation. You still want me to pay with my life? You two can reunite in the netherworld. Hua Li's face was filled with uncontrollable rage before he died. However, when he looked towards Gu Tian, young master, fortunately, I didn't completely believe him. His head tilted and he fell to the ground. The patriarchs of the other clans also came over at this moment. If they still couldn't figure out anything by now, then they would really be idiots. Gu Li, I want you to pay with your life for the lives of our elites. TSK. So many people want me to pay with my life. I only have one life. How can I pay them all? Gu Li suddenly smiled meaningfully, then snorted coldly towards Yi Zichen. I can't just let go of our grudge like this. Yang Jian, stop him! Yi Zichen roared. Yang Jian instantly stomped the ground, causing it to crack and shoot towards Gu Li like a cannonball. Goodbye, everyone. Gu Li smiled playfully and waved his hand, then vanished in a thin air. All the clans and Yang Jian missed their target. Zhuge Hong raised her eyebrows. He's gone. Just then, cough, cough. A weak cough sounded out. Yi Zichen looked towards the source of the sound and saw Gu Tian crawl up from the ground with a pale expression. Elder Hua, I knew it. How could you betray me for real? Yi Zichen touched the bloody hole in his left chest. If it was a normal person, he might have already died. However, Gu Tian was rather special. His heart was on the right side. Even so, a hole in his chest was not a small injury. Every time he coughed, a lot of blood would flow out of his mouth. Yang Jian, do you have any healing elixirs? Yes. He took out a jade bottle from his bosom. Inside the jade bottle was a light blue pill. I won this from Old Lord Tai Bai. It's a level 9 immortal grade pill. As long as he's still breathing, I can definitely save him. Give it to me. Yi Zichen reached out his hand and stuffed the pill into Gu Tian's mouth. If you want him to die, then give it to him. Zhuge Hong walked over slowly. Yi Zichen frowned. What do you mean by that? Gu Tian is merely at the early stage of the spiritual body level. You can imagine the results of making him eat a pill that even a sky immortal can greatly nourish. Then what do you think we should do? Zhuge Hong took out a huge black pill from her pocket with a smile. Yi Zichen was instantly stunned when he saw the pill. It was the kind of healing pill that maintaining beauty provided to the military. It's enough for him to eat this. Zhuge Hong chucked the pill into Gu Tian's mouth, then patted Gu Tian's back with a faint glow. The moment the pill entered his body, Gu Tian's complexion took a huge turn for the better. The bloody hole in his chest also gradually healed. Although it was very slow, it was clear that it was healing. After doing all that, she stood up and raised her eyebrows towards Gu Hai. Gu family head, we, the Zhuge family, have the intention to form an alliance with the Gu family. What do you think? I'm extremely willing. Gu Hai smiled faintly. Being able to gain an ally like the Zhuge clan was a great boon for the Gu clan. At that moment, Zhuge Hong also stood up and shrugged towards Shangwan Xiong and company. Everything has already been revealed. Everything has come to light. Hua Li and Gu Li were the masterminds of your family's elites. Hua Li has already been executed. As for Gu Li, he is no longer suitable for the Gu family. Family heads, please return. If you want to take revenge, then go and find Gu Li. If you still want to cause trouble for the Gu family, then prepare to receive the wrath of the Zhuge and Gu family. Huh. Shangguan Xiong snorted coldly. Let's go. Whoosh. Everyone turned around to leave. At that moment, Gu Hai also smiled coldly with a dark expression. Carry away the corpse of your dead clansman. Take the corpse of your dead clansman away. Our Gu family has no obligation to help you deal with the aftermath. Gu Hai, don't get cocky. Gu Hai sent 2 clansmen to carry the corpse away, while all the family heads left the Gu family. The Gu family members, who had been extremely tense, also let out a long sigh of relief. Many of them directly sat down on the ground. Nobody laughed at him when they saw that. The situation just now was far too dangerous. All right, the unimportant people have all left. Shouldn't we get down to business? Zhuge Hong smiled as she watched Yi Zichen, who watched Gu Tian leave. Misty, you just said that you wanted to introduce someone to the Zhuge family. I wonder if the person you're talking about. Is this Mr. in front of us? Yeah, I heard Big Brother you call him Yang Jian. At that moment, Zhuge Kongming also skipped over, then asked curiously with admiration in his eyes. Chapter 363. The reason for not being able to descend the war god of the heavenly court, Yang Jian. To the hidden clans, this could be considered a supreme existence. Yang Jian raised his eyebrows proudly when he saw Zhuge Kongming's curious and worshipful gaze. Little fellow, you're right. Laozi is the #1 war god of the heavenly court, Yang Jian. The title of war god caused Yi Zichen to roll his eyes. I remember I got beaten by a monkey not too long ago. Really? Zhuge Kongming blinked his eyes in doubt. Whoosh. Yang Jian's body glowed. When he once again appeared in front of everyone, he was still wearing the silver armor and stood proudly with his lance in hand. You should believe me now, right? I just descended a while ago. If your family worships me, then you should have seen it before. Yang Jian smiled proudly. Yang Jian smiled proudly. However, as soon as he said this, he felt the hesitation in the eyes of the people around him. Why are you guys looking at me like that? Laozi doesn't have the time to lie to you. If you don't believe me, then ask my bro. No. Great deity, we're curious about whether you've really descended recently? Gu Hai asked carefully. Yang Jian immediately nodded. Of course, I'm very protective of my fans. I've suffered. Ahem, whatever it is, I definitely care about the worshippers. Normally, I will descend once every half a month. But, Gu Hai raised his eyebrows. But we haven't seen your descent for close to 100 years. Not only you, we haven't seen any great deities from the heavenly court or the underworld. How is that possible? Yang Jian was shocked. He had lived in poverty for far too long in the heavenly court and relied on the cultivation and prestige that his worshippers could give him. In his poorest days, he even had a record of God descending on him every day. Yet, someone actually said that he had never descended before, and that no one else from the heavenly court or the underworld had seen it before. Clan Head Gu is speaking the truth. We hidden families really haven't seen your descent for close to 100 years. Zhuge Hong also spoke up. For some reason, Yi Zichen felt like this woman wasn't simple. No matter when, she would always have a calm and collected appearance. Just like Gu Hai, he was also the clan head of a big family, but when he saw Erlang Shun, he would always lower himself. Even when he encountered those black impermanence trainees, he was still very respectful. The distinction between superiors and subordinates was especially clear. However, Yi Zichen had never felt anything like that from Zhuge Hong. It was just like how the people of the heavenly court and the underworld were only at the same level as her, or even lower. Yang Jian was rather insensitive and did not pay much attention to Zhuge Hong's tone. He was currently wondering why the god's descent did not descend. Damn it, the cost of a god's descent isn't cheap. Do you have an ancestral hall here to worship me? Yang Jian frowned. Gu Hai immediately nodded repeatedly. Of course, bring me there. Yang Jian replied with narrowed eyes. He wanted to see why he couldn't descend. In the past, the expenses were a small matter. Now that he was rich, he didn't need that bit of money. He did not want to see the effect of his fans decrease. A portion of the heavenly court's divine power was directly related to the believers. If this continued, then his number of worshippers would decrease. Then, even if he reached the Sky Immortal level, he would only have the body of Sky Immortal and would not be able to unleash great battle prowess. After a while, the Gu family's clan head brought some of the more important people to the Ancestral Hall. At the top of the Ancestral Hall was Yang Jian's statue. The Ancestral Hall was clean and spotless, and a thick fragrance filled the air. There were even 3 candles burning in front of the incense burner. Great deity, look, I've practically sent people to your Ancestral Hall every 3 hours. What they did not know was that the moment Yang Jian entered the Ancestral Hall, his eyes turned terrifyingly dark. Creak, Gu Hai said in horror as he clenched his fists tightly. Seeing that, Gu Hai instantly panicked. Great deity, did we do something wrong that made you unhappy? An indifferent smile came from Yang Jian's mouth as he forcefully thrust the halberd in his hand towards the statue. Great deity! Gu Hai's face was full of fear. Even Zhuge Hong's expression changed. Personally destroying his own Ancestral Hall statue was a huge taboo. Just what could have made him so angry. Bang! The stone statue shattered. A black mist flew out from the statue, and in an instant, the mist filled the entire Ancestral Hall. Yang Jian, to think that you could actually find out. TSK, so pitiful. So many gods' descends were all stopped by this sovereign. Demon. Yang Jian clenched his teeth. No wonder their gods' descends couldn't be seen by their believers. It was all stopped by this guy. Stay. A dazzling golden light shot out from Yang Jian's third eye. The fog gradually dimmed and gradually disappeared from the Ancestral Hall. However, the fog's playful laughter resounded in the Ancestral Hall. So what if you make me stay here? This sovereign's footprints are all in the modern world's hidden families. Can you make it here? At least you've met me here. Bang! The halberd stabbed into the ground. Yang Jian grabbed at the black fog with his bare hands, and a strand of black hair appeared in his hand. Pooh! A golden flame burned the hair to ashes, and a playful cold laugh rang out in the Ancestral Hall once more. How decisive! You actually destroyed it right away. I thought that you would think of a way to make up for the loss of God's descent. All right, since you've discovered me, then there's no need for me to stay here any longer. I will pull the incarnations of the other families away. Of course, if you don't believe me, then you could try to run one by one. Demon, are you trying to start a war with the heavenly court by doing this? Yang Jian's reply was firm. His halberd even caused a loud thud on the ground. Start a war? Do you think the heavenly court is worthy? The demon laughed mockingly, his tone filled with undisguised disdain. Back then, during the great war between gods and demons, who knows where your heavenly court was? That's because I wasn't there. Yang Jian raised his head proudly and pointed his halberd at the sky. I will beat up every single one of you, demon race. I will beat up every single one of you. If I was there, maybe your demon race would have gone extinct. Stop boasting, the demon said in disdain. The demon said in disdain, with your standard when the demon race was at its peak, even the lowest soldier could crush you. Hearing that, Yi Zichen was shocked. The demons were so strong back then. No matter what, Yang Jian was at the level of a complete stage, human immortal, a soldier of the lowest level. Just what was the great war of gods and demons like back then? Yang Jian merely chuckled in response. He picked up his halberd from the ground and opened his third eye. A strong gust of wind uncontrollably emanated from his body. Chapter 364. I will protect this land. The strong smell of gunpowder spread out from the Ancestral Hall. Gu Hai and the others had already subconsciously given up the middle spot so that the god could perform well. However, the demon smiled playfully. This sovereign's main body is currently in seclusion. This sovereign will remember your challenge. The remaining black mist flew out of the Ancestral Hall. Yang Jian spat at him disdainfully. How dare you go into seclusion? If you really dare to hit me, I'll beat you into a baby. Seeing that the fight was not going to happen, everyone returned to Yang Jian's side. Gu Hai could not help but raise his eyebrows as he looked at the shattered stone statue on the ground. Great God, this statue. Let's build another one when we have time. Yang Jian looked at the statue indifferently. It was his first time breaking his own statue. Are we still going to visit the other families? Zhuge Hong also spoke at this moment. That demon seemed to have said that he had been to all the clans in the modern realm. Yes, of course I'm going. The words that the fiend race's people say, your father doesn't believe. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed quietly. Yang Jian had not been slacking off these few days. He followed Zhuge Hong around the various clans, and without revealing his identity, he went up and smashed the statues of the clans into pieces. Among them, he saw a few who worshipped monkeys, and he purposely crushed them into powder. According to his words, I can't beat the monkey now, so I'll vent my anger on his statue. In a certain high-class graveyard in the imperial capital, the price of placing a dark steel here was enough to buy an apartment in the imperial capital's 4th Ring Road. The autumn rain was hazy. Gu Tian stood in front of Hua Li's tombstone with a black umbrella and a white flower in his hand. Looking at the kind smile on the black and white photo, his face was filled with a faint solemnity. Elder Hua didn't betray me in the end. On the day of the junior family head election, there was only one person who did not vote for Gu Li. The person who voted for me was Elder Hua. Yi Zichen patted his shoulder and comforted him. The dead are gone. There's no need to care so much about it. But I can't accept it. Gu Tian clenched his fist tightly, while his face was filled with anger. If it wasn't for Gu Li, I'm truly blind to actually believe his nonsense. I won't let that brat off. Yi Zichen's gaze gradually grew cold. Then he smiled wryly and helplessly. Of course, it seems like he won't let me go either. Zichen Ji, sorry. Gu Tian suddenly put down his umbrella and bowed towards Yi Zichen, despite the rain drenching his clothes. What are you doing? He hurriedly passed the umbrella in his hand over. At this moment, Gu Tian smiled bitterly and said, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have been swept up here. From the looks of it, he was blaming himself for Gu Li's hatred towards Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen shook his head helplessly, then patted him on the shoulder. Don't be silly, kid. Even without you, some troubles will still come to me. Who asked my physique to be like this? Yi Zichen knew very well that it was most likely because of him, the reincarnation of the Yellow Emperor, that he'd gotten involved with the demons. Perhaps the demons were a calamity that he was destined to face. I just don't know how many calamities I have to face in order to live a peaceful life, nor do I know how many calamities I've already faced. Either way, the Bulsh ** T had never stopped. You're the clan head of the Gu clan now. Manage the Gu clan well in the future, and make the Gu clan stronger and stronger. That's what you should be thinking about. Actually, Zichen Ji, you're the clan head of the Gu clan. Gu Tian looked up with a wry smile. Gu Tian raised his head and smiled bitterly. This is what grandfather told me. He promised, and in the past, that her child would be the patriarch of the Gu clan. Don't. Yi Zichen quickly raised his hand and put on a terrified expression. Don't mention that to me. I'm better off living a normal person's life. I'll leave the Gu clan to you. What's more, isn't it the same for either of us? Big bro. Gu Tian nodded. At that moment, a ray of light descended from the sky. Yi Zichen knew that it was definitely Yang Jian when he saw the light. Only he would do all these useless entrance effects. Bro. As expected, Yang Jian swung his arms and walked over. Although he didn't have an umbrella, the rain quietly disappeared when it was about to fall on him, not letting him get wet at all. Ready to go back? Recently, Yang Jian had been dealing with the statue situation in the modern world. He had to report this situation to Tai Bai Jinxing in the Heavenly Court as soon as possible. Yi Zichen had wanted to let him try the Wi-Fi, but it wasn't working. This was a little strange. At that time, White Impermanence was in the modern realm and could still receive news from the underworld. I have to go back. The demon realm has actually extended their hands into the abandoned land. This used to be the territory of my Heavenly Court. This must be reported. Yang Jian frowned, then patted Yi Zichen's shoulder. Brother, why don't you follow me back to the Heavenly Court? This place isn't too safe, and I can see that your strength isn't too good either. You should be reincarnating. You used to be fine here, but now. Her deep concern warmed Yi Zichen's heart. He shook his head with a smile. Forget it. I've been here for so long, I don't want to leave. You can return to the heavenly court in peace. During this period, I will protect this land. Perhaps because he felt Yi Zichen's heroic spirit, Yang Jian's expression changed. He looked at Yi Zichen for a long while, then nodded and smiled. All right, then I'll leave this piece of land to you, brother. Well, a friendly reminder, it seems like the time that Chang'e and I agreed to descend to the lower realm hasn't arrived yet. He might still have to descend after a while. What? Yi Zichen had wanted to use his heroic spirit to act cool, but he instantly gave up when Chang'e was mentioned. She still has to come down. Aren't you? I arranged for her not to come down, but I'm going back now. As long as I return, my arrangements will be useless. Yang Jian smiled awkwardly as he scratched his head. Soon after, he raised his head and looked into the distance. Wait for me to go to the heavenly court to talk in detail. I'm leaving. Whoosh. Without another word, Yang Jian vanished from this world. Yi Zichen scratched his head and let out a long sigh as he watched him leave. Chang'e, big brother Yi, you really can fight with the people of the heavenly court. Uh-huh. Yi Zichen nodded. At that moment, the phone in his pocket also rang. Yi Zichen chatted with the person on the other end of the phone for a bit. Then a hint of reluctance surfaced on Gu Tian's face. You're leaving? I should go back. Yi Zichen stretched lazily and smiled. I've stayed in the capital for too long. There are still a lot of things waiting for me to deal with. All right then, I won't make you stay. Have a safe trip, big brother Yi. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile, then looked up at the dark sky. Chapter 365. Songin, why are you the only one here? Where are Fatty and the others? On the plane, Yi Zichen sat near the window. Beside him was Go Yuzhan, who had a lollipop in his mouth. He didn't know when it started, but Go Yuzhan had gotten used to following him around. Brother Fatty and Sister Lu said that they have something to do and asked me to escort you back to Ice City safely. Go Yuzhan replied vaguely as he licked his lollipop. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes speechlessly. It was obvious that Go Yuzhan was the oldest among them, but he actually called the other two elder brothers and sisters. Of course, this was only on the surface. If it was based on his real age, perhaps Fatty Yin and Lu were his ancestors. He glanced curiously at Go Yuzhan, who was licking his lollipop non-stop. Back in the fortune-telling hut, the fortune-teller had told him that Go Yuzhan would be his lucky charm. But looking at him, he didn't look like a lucky general. Besides, if he really believed it, wouldn't that mean that Sun Yige would be his enemy? He shook his head forcefully. As expected, it was better not to care too much about divination. Boss Yi, what's wrong? Go Yuzhan was unwilling to take out his lollipop even when he spoke, causing Yi Zichen to retort. How could it be true? It's nothing. My neck hurts. Just eat your lollipop. All right. The plane also took off at this time. Go Yuzhan only cared about eating his candy and didn't say anything. Yi Zichen also felt a bit tired after sitting for a while and decided to rest. At this moment, an announcement sounded in the cabin. Dear passengers on the flight, is there a doctor present? If there's anything, please proceed to cabin number 3. A passenger has suddenly fainted. Dear passengers on the flight, the message was played 3 times. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and wanted to ignore it. Forget it, I'll go and take a look. If there's a doctor, I won't do anything. If there isn't one, I'll just treat it as accumulating good karma for myself. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then left his seat and walked in front of the flight attendant. Take me to cabin number 3. Cabin 3 was a first-class cabin, and the cabin was extremely spacious. A middle-aged man was lying flat on the ground. In front of him stood a nice-looking girl, her eyes filled with anxiety as she looked at the man on the ground. You sure? When Yi Zichen saw the girl in front of him, he was momentarily stunned. Then he looked down at the man on the ground. It was Yang Jian. I told him a long time ago that he had to go for a full body checkup, but he didn't listen. Yi Zichen sighed in his heart. The reason why Yang Jian ended up like that was because he didn't listen to Yi Zichen's warning. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken the plane so recklessly at this time. There was a man with gold-rimmed glasses squatting on the ground in front of Yang Jian, checking his condition. His movements were not particularly rusty, so he should be a medical student. Zichen, A hint of surprise also appeared on Yang Yusher's face. Soon after, her eyes revealed a deep worry. Hurry up and see how my dad is doing. Even though Yang Zhen's actions were very arbitrary, no matter what, he was still Yang Yusher's father. It was impossible for Yang Yusher not to worry. Don't you already have someone? Yi Zichen shrugged. Yang Yusher instantly revealed an anxious expression. I believe you. Hurry up and take a look at my dad. She understood Yi Zichen's medical abilities very well. She was able to bring him back from the brink of death when she was in such a dangerous situation. So treating her father's illness would definitely be a piece of cake. Beauty, are you saying this because you don't believe me? The man squatting on the ground stood up with a hint of displeasure. No, you misunderstood. Yang Yusher smiled apologetically. Yang Yusher smiled apologetically. The man did not continue to argue with her, and instead looked towards Yi Zichen. Doctor, from your age, you're at most a medical university student. A strong hostility radiated from the man. Yi Zichen shrugged, causing the man to laugh in disdain. You want to call yourself a doctor without even going through all your classes? You want to call yourself a doctor when you haven't even taken all your professional courses? Let me introduce myself, Song In. The man had a hint of pride when he introduced himself, causing many of the surrounding passengers to open their eyes wide when they heard his name. Yi Zichen had heard of the name Song, and he had a master's degree in the American Medical Research Institute and had won countless awards in the medical field. It was rumored that he was the last person in the country to win the Nobel Prize in Medicine, but he had migrated to the United States half a year ago. Z's, Dr. Song, I've heard so much about you. Yi Zichen smiled faintly, but his tone did not sound like he had heard so much about Song and could naturally tell that Yi Zichen's tone was ambiguous. However, he merely smiled in disdain, then spoke with the tone of a senior educating a junior. Don't think that you're a doctor before you graduate from school. Before you graduate from school, don't think that you can become a doctor just because you studied for a few years. Even if you graduate and become an attending physician, that's all there is to it. Human lives aren't as simple as you think. If it wasn't because I was here, then your arrogance might have cost you a life. Senior Song is right. Yi Zichen smiled faintly, then shrugged. Yi Zichen smiled faintly, then shrugged. But as a doctor, shouldn't you place saving people as your number one priority? The patient is lying right in front of you, and you still have the mood to talk about these useless things with me? Time is life. Don't you know that the patient is in a life and death situation? Yi Zichen's words caused Song In's face to flush. He let out a sigh, then raised his eyebrows with a smile. You're right, but I already have a rough understanding of the patient situation. Then why aren't you doing it? Yi Zichen twitched his mouth helplessly. Saving people is like putting out a fire. If you want to pick up girls, then wait until he's treated, all right? Song In smiled indifferently, then turned towards Yang Yusher. Miss Yang, your father's situation isn't too serious. I'll give him a little massage, and he'll be back to normal. Massage. Yi Zichen frowned. He knew very well that Yang Zhen's situation wasn't something that could be improved with a massage. How much trouble do you think it will be? Watch out, I'll teach you a lesson right now. Song In smiled arrogantly, then pressed his thumb towards Yang Zhen's shunting acupoint without any hesitation. Wait, Yi Zichen frowned. You want to press his shunting acupoint? You can tell. Not bad. Your basics are very solid. Although Song In didn't answer directly, his words revealed that he was indeed going to press the shunting acupoint. Didn't you notice that the patient's neck is a bit red, and his arm is a bit swollen? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. What if something goes wrong like this? Young man, I've won more awards than you've seen. My words are authority in the medical field. If anything goes wrong, I'll take full responsibility. Chapter 366. Is this your so-called authority? His arrogant tone caused the people in the cabin to feel a little disgusted. It was undeniable that Song In was exceptionally talented in the field of medicine, but it was a little too much to say that his words were authoritative. However, most people still wanted to save the patient. People were kind, and no one wanted to see someone die from sudden symptoms on the plane. Of course, it It was more likely that they didn't want the plane to be delayed or have to change planes midway. The passengers did not understand medicine, but Yi Zichen did. He didn't expect that Song Dong would be so arrogant. Song Dong used the word authority when he didn't agree with him. Then, he ignored his warning and attacked. "Kid, watch out." In less than a minute, Song Dong raised his head arrogantly with a faint smile on his lips. In his opinion, this was the simplest reaction of air sickness at high altitudes. Her arms were swollen and her neck was red. He was waiting for Yang Zhen to get up from the ground and slap Yi Zichen's face. In the blink of an eye, a minute passed. On the ground, Yang Zhen's condition did not improve at all. However, what caught people's attention was that his face gradually turned from pale white to dark purple. His arms also turned red and his veins bulged. "Why is my dad like this?" Yang Yusher's questioning made Song a little flustered. That shouldn't be the case. There was nothing wrong with what he did just now. But why did the patient not wake up? Why did he have such symptoms? "This is your so-called authority? Get lost." Raising his hand, he pushed the bewildered Song away. He really felt sorry for America's medical achievements. Such a person could actually win countless awards and even become a master of medical research institute. "Do you have silver needles here?" Frowning slightly at the stewardess nodded. Yes. Bring it over for me. I need to do acupuncture. Also, if you have any knives and white towels, bring them over as well. The knives need to be sterilized at high temperature." "No problem." The stewardess quickly left the cabin. She did not dare to neglect the passengers here. Those who could be in this cabin were all successful people, especially the one who fell was Yang Yusher's father. There was no need to mention Yang Yusher's identity. She was a celebrity that was close to becoming famous. However, he seemed to have seen the young man who asked for the silver needles somewhere before. "Yi Zichen, my dad will be fine, right?" Yang Yusher said worriedly. She patted her little head and gave her a comforting smile. "No, I'm here. What are you worried about? But when he wakes up, you must convince him to go to the hospital for a full body checkup." His body, shaking her head and sighing. Yang Yusher's expression became even more nervous. At that moment, the stewardess also came over with the items Yi Zichen needed. "Chinese medicine?" Song said with a frown. Yi Zichen ignored him and picked up the knife to slice Yang Zhen's arm. "What are you doing?" Song roared with a frown. Yi Zichen shrugged. "Just let him bleed. Why are you a doctor if you can't even tell? Do you know what the consequences will be? Are you lecturing me, expert Song?" Yi Zichen's expression gradually darkened. Then he sneered. "I'm cleaning up after you. If someone dies, are you going to take criminal responsibility? Or are you just going to say that you did your best, but won't say anything about your mediocrity? Cleaning up after me?" Song snickered. He moved his lips as if he wanted to talk about his achievements in the medical field. In response, Yi Zichen merely handed him a piece of silver and snorted, "I'm ignoring you. The patient's family is here. I'll do it if the family agrees." "I agree," Yang Yusher said without thinking. At the same time, Yi Zichen also raised the knife and slid it towards Yang Zhen's arm. The bright red blood seemed to have been pumped into a high-pressure pump, causing it to shoot up high. Yi Zichen ignored the blood on his body and silently counted the time in his heart. Then, he grabbed a white towel and covered Yang Zhen's arm. However, that did not stop the blood from flowing. Not long later, the towel was completely red. "Silver needles." The stewardess quickly spread out the silver needles in front of Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen merely covered Yang Zhen's arm with one hand, while he stabbed the needles in without even checking the acupuncture points with the other hand. The passengers in the cabin couldn't help but wipe away the cold sweat for Yi Zichen. The blood just now was too terrifying. "Bring another towel over." In a short period of time, 6 towels were dyed red by Yang Zhen's blood. During that time, Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and continuously pinched the silver needles. "Phew!" Yi Zichen let out a long sigh, then twisted his neck and stood up from the ground. All of the passengers in the cabin looked towards him. Yang Yusher also spoke up nervously. "How is it? He'll probably wake up soon." Yi Zichen smiled faintly towards the cabin lady. With a faint smile, he turned to the cabin attendant and said, "Please prepare some sweets for him. He might feel a little dizzy when he wakes up." With that, Yi Zichen turned around and walked back to his seat. However, Song frowned. You want to leave? You want to leave? Are you trying to avoid responsibility? Do you think I'm you? Yi Zichen sneered. Don't come out and embarrass yourself if you don't have any skills. It's fortunate that I'm here. If I wasn't here, he really would have been killed by you. Bullshit. Song clenched his teeth and cursed. You know that I won, even if you win all the awards in the medical world, so what? You can't save him. Even if your body is covered with awards, it can't show your mediocre nature. Did you see the needle technique I used just now? You didn't, did you? Since that's the case, why are you still competing here? Just now, Yi Zichen had used the 9-yang life extending needle. He had thought that it would be able to shut Song's mouth. But from the looks of it, Song didn't seem to know anything. He really didn't know how an idiot like him could have such high achievements in the medical field. That's enough. Don't show your vile heart there. I'm not a passerby. Now that we're on the same plane, even if there's a problem, you can find me in my cabin. With a faint smile, he turned around and left. Song clenched his fists and gritted his teeth as he watched him leave. His expression became frighteningly dark. He secretly prayed in his heart that he would not wake up, but the heavens did not grant his wish. The moment Yi Zichen left, Yang Zhen woke up. This invisible slap landed on his face, causing him to feel pain. Yang Yusher also revealed a look of pleasant surprise, but she put on an indifferent expression and spoke. You're awake. What's wrong with me? Yang Zhen rubbed his head in confusion. He then looked at Song and asked, Is this doctor the one who saved me? It's a meager effort. Song replied shamelessly. All the passengers in the cabin were defeated by his shamelessness, while Yang Yusher retorted mercilessly, He wasn't the one who saved you. He wasn't the one who saved you. If it weren't for Yi Zichen, you might have. Chapter 367. Strange Su Yin Yi Zichen. When this name came out of Yang Yusher's mouth, all the passengers in the cabin were stunned. Plenty of people in the group paid attention to the news about Maintaining Beauty Corporation. Although Yi Zichen's name wasn't mentioned in the report, someone exposed to the young man who spoke so boldly in Maintaining Beauty Corporation was Yi Zichen. No wonder that young man looked so familiar. The surrounding passengers could not help but mutter, and the others also sighed. Song Yin's face turned even uglier when he heard the conversations of the passengers around him. However, no one cared about his emotions. Yang Yusher even nodded at Yang Zhen non-committally. Yi Zichen, you suddenly fainted just now? This self-proclaimed expert nearly sent you to the gates of hell. It was Yi Zichen who brought you back. When she mentioned Yi Zichen, it wasn't hard to see a hint of pride on Yang Yusher's face, as well as a hint of wanting to take credit. What a joke. He made a move, and so did I. Can you be sure that it was that brat who cured him? Song couldn't help but snort, and the surrounding passengers immediately revealed looks of disdain. Normally, they wouldn't have known that this person was actually so despicable. At this time, he still wanted to take credit. Some people who followed his Weibo were ready to unfollow him after he got off the plane. Mother asterisk her. How can people be so shameless? One of the passengers stood up and frowned. I don't know you. What's Songin? This person was clearly cured by that little brother, yet you still shamelessly come over to claim credit. I really want to give you a punch. Hurry up and get lost. I'm annoyed when I see you. He? Laugh at me one more time. The man swung his arms and was about to come out, but the surrounding passengers tried their best to stop him. Song glanced at the man's physique and shrunk his neck. I don't want to talk to a brute like you. With that, he hurriedly left the cabin. TSK, what is this? The big brother spat at Song then raised his eyebrows at Yang Zhen. Let me tell you, it's all because of that little brother's medical skills that you're able to survive. All of us passengers know that. As for Song, I think you should be called a funeral procession. Many of the surrounding passengers nodded in agreement, and Yang Yusher also spoke up. Dad, why don't we go and thank them? No matter what, we'll talk about it later. Yang Zhen did not come over to thank Yi Zichen even after he got off the plane. Yi Zichen understood his personality all too well. Getting him to lower his status and thank him would be even harder than killing him. Yezi. As soon as he stepped out of the airport, Su Yun walked over with a smile and gave him a bear hug. The domineering CO finally knows to come back from the capital. TSK, a small target of 100 million. I just said it casually. Is there a need for such a big reaction? Yi Zichen also revealed a look of helplessness. Su Yun immediately smiled and tried to hide it. What you just said is something that ordinary people and even many businessmen don't even dare to think about in their entire lives. Do you know that you become an internet celebrity now? Internet celebrity. Yi Zichen never would have thought that he would actually become an internet celebrity. Even when he was singing, he didn't cause such a huge commotion. Exactly. Domineering CEO, national husband, national love rival. Really, if you don't believe me, you can shout right now at the airport and say you're Yi Zichen. In less than 3 minutes, there will definitely be hundreds of young ladies offering themselves to you. Yi Zichen immediately frowned, then walked in front of Su Yan. You came. Su Yan replied faintly with a smile. Congratulations on your successful career. Yi Zichen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows when he saw the distance between them. They shouldn't be like this. Yi Zichen thought that Su Yan was unhappy about Su Yun's words just now, so he opened his arms and hugged her tightly with a smile. No matter how successful I am, I'm still just a small fry in front of you. You're the lady boss. That's true, Su Yan replied plainly. It was still the same indifferent reply. From her face, one could see that her smile was forced. When he hugged her, Yi Zichen could feel her body stiffen even more. Su Yun raised his eyebrows and said, Don't worry, I'll be fine. However, Su Yun raised his eyebrows on the side. Hey, it's a bit too much to be so lovey-dovey. You brat. Yi Zichen shook his head as he held Su Yan's hand. Didn't you find your true love recently? Why didn't she come with you? Isn't she here to welcome you? She's... Just as Su Yan opened his mouth, a faint giggle sounded out from not far away. Who said I didn't come? Lily, why did you come? Didn't you say that you had a class? Su Yun's face was covered with a hint of surprise. The girl instantly wrinkled her nose and snorted. I was checking to see if you were secretly eating outside. I'm checking to see if you've been eating outside. I'm carrying out my daily detective activities. Only then did Yi Zichen examine the girl. The girl was tall and gave off the feeling of a pretty girl from a humble family. Yi Zichen also gave his sincere blessings in his heart when he saw that she and Su Yun had such a good relationship. Oh, my lady, how would I dare with you here? Su Yun smiled apologetically, then introduced Li Min Yi to Yi Zichen. Li Min Yi, my girlfriend. He. Li Min Yi wrinkled her nose and smiled, then pouted towards Yi Zichen. You're Yi Zichen? You just SOSO. Yi Zichen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows and smile when he saw her cute look. What? Did I disappoint you? TSK, what does that have to do with me? Li Min Yi curled her lips and snorted. Su Yun talks about you beside my ear every day and says how amazing you are. If I didn't know that Su is your girlfriend, I would have suspected that the two of you. Ugh, so dirty. Li Min Yi stuck out her tongue, then couldn't help but smile when he saw that. I didn't expect this girl to be rather lively. Her personality is indeed very compatible with a fun person like Su Yun. You damn girl, you actually dare to think of me like that. It seems like I have to find a chance to eat you up and let you have a taste of this lord's power. Su Yun raised his eyebrows and smiled. Keep dreaming. Li Min Yi smiled, and the two of them started to bicker again. Yi Zichen looked at the scene with interest and couldn't help but smile. He subconsciously looked towards Su Yan and noticed that she seemed to have lost her soul as she stared straight ahead without saying anything. Su Yan. Yi Zichen called her name softly. After a long while, Su Yan finally came back to her senses and smiled brightly. What is it? My older brother and sister-in-law are seriously bickering every day. Seeing that Yi Zichen did not reply, she raised her eyebrows and smiled. Are you a bit tired? Are you tired? Why don't I ask my brother to send you back? Chapter 368. Beauty spokesperson candidate. When Yi Zichen laid on the bed at home, Su Yan's appearance continuously flashed through his mind. Although she said that it was nothing, he could feel that she definitely had something in her heart, but she just didn't want to say it. If it's Kiki, then she should know something, right? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then took out his phone. The moment he turned it on, a 99 plus popped up on his phone's social media app. What? Was there a need to be like this just from taking a plane? Yi Zichen clicked open his phone app and saw that his contacts were 99 plus, while his messages were also 99 plus. When he clicked open his new contacts, Yi Zichen was confused by the variety of names. The verification messages made him even more speechless. Domineering CEO, I love you. Through me. My body is better than the girl beside you. I'm still young, so verify it. Grandson, don't think that you're amazing just because you have some money. What's going on? Yi Zichen ignored all the verification messages with a look of confusion. However, when he finally clicked on all of them, another bunch popped up. What's going on? There was no need to think about it to know that his social media account was definitely exposed. Yi Zichen glanced at the messages, but didn't see any messages from his roommates. How did this get exposed? Yi Zichen decided to close the friend request, then clicked on his chat with Yang Jian. Almost all of the 99 plus messages were sent by him. Yi Zichen glanced at the messages he sent. Bro, I'm in the Heavenly Court. Bro, when can you open a makeup class in the Heavenly Court? Bro, why aren't you replying? Bro, Yi Zichen really didn't know where Yang Jian got the mood to send messages for an hour when Yi Zichen didn't reply. He really hadn't played with his phone in the modern realm, so he was able to connect to the internet in the Heavenly Court. I just got off the plane. Don't send since I didn't reply. I'll definitely reply when I see your message. Ding dong. An instant reply. I have nothing better to do, so I'll just send it to you for fun. Yang Jian's words caused Yi Zichen to roll his eyes. He really has nothing better to do. The Heavenly Court has been taken care of. You've already reported the news? Sitting on the rattan chair, Yang Jian's expression changed. He said, I told Tai-Bai Jinxing that he has already arranged for people to go down to the lower realm to control the devil. However, the strength of the people sent in the beginning will not be particularly strong, mainly for investigation. After finding the specific location of the base of the devil race, we will send troops to capture them in one fell swoop. I see. Reporting the news of the demon race to Tai-Bai Jinxing was the right decision. This old man had a deep hatred for the demon race. Even if the Jade Emperor did not want to pay attention to him, he would definitely use his silver tongue to persuade the Jade Emperor. Just look at Journey to the West, where the great sage was appointed as the horse protector. Let's not talk about this. When are you going to start teaching in the Heavenly Court? I'll go to your place and then go back to the Heavenly Court and see that these women are just ordinary women. Only Chong is comparable to that girl from your side, the others. After a trip to the modern world, his sense of beauty had changed. However, it was undeniable that the current makeup technology was really advanced and it could change a woman greatly. Even a man's makeup could be mistaken for a woman's. From this, it could be seen just how powerful makeup was. Starting a class isn't something that can be started just because you want to. There needs to be an opportunity. All of this was within Yi Zichen's plans. Since he wanted to promote makeup classes in the Heavenly Court, he naturally had to find a spokesperson. Chang'e couldn't do it. She was already pretty. Even if makeup made her prettier, it wouldn't cause too much of a reaction for the women in the Heavenly Court. At most, Chang'e would become prettier again. If he wanted them to truly pay attention to the power of makeup, then he had to find a woman with average looks. Of course, this woman also had to be somewhat famous so that the people in the Heavenly Court would notice her, then cause a shocking reaction. As long as he achieved this goal, the women in the Heavenly Court would naturally flock to the makeup classes. Bro, what opportunity are you talking about? Yang Jian squinted his eyes and replied. At that moment, it was as if grass had grown in his heart. If it wasn't for Tai-Bai Jinxing telling him not to casually leave the Heavenly Court, he might have already run down to the lower realm. This was the ocean of happiness for men. As for the Heavenly Court, it was clearly several levels lower. Do you know any women in the Heavenly Court that are rather average-looking or rather ugly? They can't be too normal. Forget about fairies, they have to be the kind that are somewhat famous in the Heavenly Court. But don't find one that's too strong. I'm afraid that I won't be able to control her. What's that for? Yang Jian was rather confused. A spokesperson. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. If you want to do something, don't you have to find a spokesperson first to create a brand? Otherwise, just go and tell people that makeup can make you prettier. Who would believe that? That's true. Yang Jian nodded. The other deities in the heavenly court might not understand this concept, but Yang Jian and company definitely did. At the very beginning, Yi Zichen had already found them to be the spokesperson when he promoted snacks in the heavenly court. However, he wasn't interested in that, so he got Yu Lao to be the agent. Then, a hint of awkwardness surfaced in Yang Jian's eyes. He was definitely the boss of the association in the heavenly court that focused on looks. Those that were ugly couldn't even enter his eyes. Bro, you should know me. I love beauty, but I don't know those ugly ones. The ones around me seem to all look all right. All right? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Everyone had a different view of beauty, so who knew what level Yang Jian's all right was? Send me a few photos. Let me take a look. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong. Not long later, a bunch of fairies with celestial auras appeared on Yi Zichen's phone screen. Yi Zichen couldn't help but admit that Yang Jian's aesthetic standards were rather high. These girls were indeed rather good-looking. However, Yi Zichen did manage to find a suitable target. She had dark skin and a bulky build. Her face was rather exquisite, but due to her skin color and thick arms, F*CK, I sent the wrong one. Yang Jian's message suddenly popped up on the screen. Not long later, Yi Zichen saw that the character he liked had been taken back. What did you take that one back for? I was going to choose her as the spokesperson. What the heck? Yang Jian, who was in the Erlang Palace in the Heavenly Court, directly stood up from his chair and looked at Yi Zichen's message in shock. Bro, are you serious? What is it? Does this person have a very high status in the Heavenly Court? Yi Zichen replied carefully. If the person's status was too high and didn't listen to him, then he couldn't choose them even if they were a good candidate.